Welcome, everyone, to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man. They say there's no shame in his game because he is always the same.
That's me.
Grump, how are you this fine Wednesday evening?
Okay.
What the hell is that response?
Okay.
Okay.
Just okay. Just okay.
Why just okay, Grumpy? What's going
Just
on?
okay. Just okay.
You feel like you're being held at gunpoint.
No, I got my house painted, but I'm seeing a lot of mistakes.
Are you still bitching about that? You're bitching
Yeah, so
about that.
so now I'm going around house trying to fix everything, and just frustrating.
God Almighty, your fat lazy ass Grumpy should have got up there and painted it on your own. Then
I was trying to stimulate the economy. It was a mistake.
Oh, that's funny though. Welcome everyone to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. This is a twice a week Islanders podcast that takes place every single Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every single Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're new to the channel, we invite you to stick around a while. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube, to like on Facebook, and to follow on Twitter. And for those of you who enjoy this content, the best way to let us know how is by leaving a little thumbs up. Bing! It helps us. And number one, lets us know, hey, you like what we do. And number two, I think it helps the algorithm or something like that. I don't know. I hear everybody talk about that. I couldn't tell you. I just, I go with the flow, I guess, on that one.
Yeah.
But ladies and gents, we have finally made it. The long, quiet off season is over. Now, at least we have a little bit of Islanders hockey to satisfy our taste buds, ladies and gents. So I know that the regular season hasn't started just quite yet. We've got a few preseason games going on right now. We got to see 2 Islander preseason games. We'll get a chance to talk about those a bit, and we'll have a chance to go ahead and speak a little bit about what we saw, right? I don't know. I'm conflicted on it because last year I said I wasn't concerned at all about results in the preseason, and it was an indicator and a barometer of what was to come. But, I think there's certain things we can definitely take away from these preseason games, some things that look positive, some things that still look like they're an issue, and they were an issue last time. So, we'll have a chance to speak about those. But Grump, man, I tell you, let me ask you this. What did you think of the 2 preseason games? We played the Rangers in game 1 on Monday, and on Tuesday we wound up going ahead and playing the Devils. Actually, before I ask you that, I'm sorry, I forgot. And if I don't mention this now and do this housekeeping item, I will forget. We also have another podcast called TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. That takes place every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On that show, we talk all things sports. We talk NHL, we talk NFL, we talk college athletics, especially college football. We talk college basketball. We talk European football. We talk baseball, NBA. We talk all things and everything sports. That takes place every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you enjoyed this content, you might also enjoy our takes on just sports in general. It's a little bit more freewheeling. It's a little bit more of an environment to where it's like a little bit more hot takes, I'd say, probably than the Islanders podcast. So if you want to check that out, you could find it in the link in the description below, or you can find it as a feature page on a YouTube channel where it says TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Okay.
But I want to know, Grumpy, I'm sorry. I know I cut you off, but I want to know what your thoughts are about our Monday game against the Rangers and our Tuesday game against the Devils.
You mentioned how you didn't care about results last year. I didn't care about results necessarily last year either. It's how we play. And that's when I said last year, after watching the last couple of Ranger exhibition games, I said, we don't look good. If it's possible, I think we look worse this year. I realize it's early in the preseason, but the one thing that we look really, really, really slow as a team. That's for me, that's the big takeaway. All right. Romanov looks kind of like a chicken with his head cut off out there in the first game, paired with Dobson. looks like he was positionally. It looks like we're kind of struggling positionally, which is surprising to me. But like I said, the overreaching thing for me was, man, we look slow. I mean, the Rangers just skated us into the ground, and so did the Devils. I mean, it's disappointing. I hope it's not a harbinger of things to come this year, but
We've got to take everything with a grain of salt. It is preseason, right? I think that the one thing I did notice, you mentioned about speed. It's not only speed from our current NHL roster, but also even from our AHL roster. Skating is not a strong suit of our prospects. It's not a strong suit of our organization as a whole. A lot of teams have put a huge emphasis on skill and the ability to skate. That's something our team has not done, I think, at an adequate enough level over the last few years. I think we did that this last draft, which is positive, but I think that's why it looks like even more of a hindrance and even more of like a glaring issue because our AHL guys don't skate well either. And that's one of the deficiencies in their games. And when you got guys who, aren't good enough to make it to the NHL level because they do a handful of things not the greatest and they can't skate well, it's going to look like your team's stuck in sand. So I try to take everything with a grain of salt. We do have a lot of AHL guys up there playing. We're pretty much running two different rosters based off of what day we're playing. And I think a lot of teams are doing that, right? I'm not going to cherry pick us and say we're the only team doing that. I think other teams are doing it as well because they want to see what they have. But, it is nice kind of getting to see a little bit of different line combinations and, things changed up a little bit. But skating, Grumpy, just as you mentioned, something I think our team's going to struggle with. I'm not too concerned right now with the defensive positioning and defensive awareness. It's going to take a while to get everything back up to snuff. You know what I mean? First game for some of these guys, got to knock the rust off. I'm not concerned with that. That will sort itself out. The issue more I'm concerned with is the inability to skate. It's a thing that in the offseason, right, we can avoid talking about it. Hey, this is how we improved. This is how we got better. The glaring issue was last year too, right? We get skated circles around. I think we've done a bit to improve defensively without having Chara and Green out there, but it still is just that is the big lacking, the big freaking gaping hole in this team. Cannot skate and do not create enough offense.
yeah, and the lack of offense is going to be an issue again this year.
Yep.
I mean, did anybody really impress you? I mean, honestly, I thought Atu Ratu showed that out of all the young guys, he's the only one that I think showed anything.
I think guys showed effort out there on the ice, which was nice to see. We talked about, and it's early yet in the season, but we talked about how this Islanders team towards the tail end of last year pitched their tents and said, well, the season's over. I'm done. It was good seeing, maybe not as skilled players, but the effort level, right? That's what we fell in love with as Islander fans. That's what we love to see out of them. Effort and compete level.
Yep. Without a doubt. And for me, I was just disappointed with the first two games.
It's preseason though.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But still, right. What's everything you're hearing from Lane Lambert, from the players? Oh, we're really ready to prove that last year was just an aberration. We're going to be ready to go from Jump Street. And if that's what the best you have, we're in trouble.
It's only game 2 into the preseason, right?
Wouldn't you figure you'd come out with a little bit more jump?
I do think you would come out with a little bit more jump and something to prove. Like, hey, I've been chomping at the bit all off season long. I've been freaking doing unbelievable amount of work has gone into the offseason because I want to prove everybody wrong, right? That should carry over, preseason or not. You should see a little bit of that rubbing off on the ice. And it's going to take a while for everybody to hit full stride. No doubt about it. First 2 games of preseason. But the issues that bugged this team last year and plagued this team last year seem to still be present at the very beginning of preseason. And no, we're not trying to say, oh my God, you guys are overreacting. You're complaining about the first 2 preseason games. Oh, this is the Islanders never say anything positive podcast or that. I've seen a lot, and some of them are catchy. I like them, to be honest with you. I kind of like. Here's the thing: if we deserve criticism, I like it. Right? Nobody is freaking immune to criticism. Just like we criticize a team, right? They're not immune to criticism. We're not immune to criticism when we're wrong. It's that simple. We've been wrong before, and a lot of times we're right, but we've
I
been wrong
haven't.
before.
I have not been wrong before.
Grumpy, what's your score on the right to wrong rating? What would you give yourself? What percentage would you give your right predictions versus your wrong predictions?
Probably 99-1 correct.
Ah,
I'm pretty much spot on just about everything.
I thought you were about to say 100% right. Nothing wrong.
I'll throw in I made a mistake every once in a while. Now, here's the thing.
Like
What
on
did I
Parise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not a first liner, though. Not a first liner.
No, he's not. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Positives. I thought Anders Lee showed some physicality in the first game, which has been lacking from his game in the last couple of years. I think he was much more physical, but again, he can't skate. I mean, I don't know what else he brings to the table, but I like that he showed a little bit of physicality. Josh Bailey was abysmal.
He's awful. He's awful. In his own end, and the neutral zone, and the offensive zone, he is fucking finished. He's finished, man.
It's almost like he's fallen off the planet. Okay, it's early. It's early, but
how is he, 32? How old is he? 32 years old?
Yeah. That's when most guys,
when most guys start falling off planet Earth. He was never an extremely talented player. He was a good to an above average player for a lot of years. And when he starts to fall off and his play starts to decline, he doesn't skate, doesn't have the same vigor. Well, it's going to be noticeable in a guy who's not necessarily the best player in the league.
For me, it's not a lot of the guys, I didn't really notice anybody. Everyone seemed to be in a malaise. But Josh looked bad. And I was like, oh man, he's dragging that whole line down. I thought he was terrible last night. I do. I don't think Oliver Wahlstrom's looked much better, honestly.
Really? You didn't think when he stole the puck from the Devils along his own blue line? I was like, here we go. These are those little tiny things like playing hard away from the puck or playing hard on his defensive end that people bitched at he didn't do last season. Here he's doing that. And again, right, he's playing against a team of NHLers and AHLers, right? When we say, hey, Anders Lee has looked physical, was he fat? Was he at those time periods when you saw him, was he matched up against AHL caliber defensemen? Perhaps, right? Yeah, that's one of those things too we're taking into account. That's why you got to take everything in preseason with a grain of salt.
I was just hoping to see improved skating from some of these guys. Maybe I was asking too much, but that's what I looked. I'm like, okay, no one has improved their skating, and I feel the younger players should. Ratu didn't look extremely fast out there either. He looked like he could handle himself skating though, but I was expecting more from him. William Dufour can't skate.
He's bigger than what I thought. He's a big bastard, but he cannot skate.
Yeah.
At all. That is going to be the biggest issue, and that's going to be an issue that plagues him his entire career. If he can be even a below average or just even an average skater, if he could be an average skater, he would be a very, very solid NHLer. I don't think he can ever even get to average skating ability. He's like his wheels are like, holy shit. He's out there for like a fucking 30-second long shift. He's like, oh, his strides are starting to get slower and longer. I mean, this is a guy, right? Some of these guys had come out there. I thought, now you haven't mentioned him. I thought Bellows showed energy and heart out there on the ice.
Yeah.
He is what he is. He's a guy who's a middle of the bottom six guy. But I'm looking for energy. Right now, I'm looking more for effort than anything else. For the guys that have to prove this is why I'm indisposable and I need to be given a look, that's what I want to see.
Simon Holmstrom somehow played on the first line. He was invisible to me, just invisible. I mean, the same issues that I saw, you listen to Parise do an interview and he said, oh, he's finally learned, that he's a little bit smarter on the ice. Well, that's all they've been trumpeting about, how smart he's been all these years. And I tell you, I don't see it. I see nothing in him. And I'm like, why does he deserve a shot to play on the first line and not Wahlstrom or not Bellows? And Simon Holmstrom, he's just not good enough. I'm sorry. I don't know what, and they give the coach speak. Oh, well, he did some good things out there. Really? Okay. Have fun back down and taking the bus to Bridgeport.
Well, some people, as we mentioned, they have to be handled different. They have to be talked to differently. And when you're talking about, here's the thing. Good. I don't care how bad a player struggles. I do not want to see Lane Lambert rip the shit out of a young player to the press. Ever, 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 ever. I don't give a shit if he looks like a dog crap, Grumpy. I want to see him support that young man and help build his confidence. An older player, sometimes you have to go ahead and be a little critical towards him in the press. Right? If it's not, hey, speaking behind closed doors isn't pushing the buttons, and you've tried that and you've exhausted every other avenue you know how to try to motivate an older player, sometimes you have to go out to the press. It's like your last case. It's your last resort is speaking negatively or critically about somebody in the press. Last resort.
Yeah, without a doubt. I thought Barzal looked good. He was the one guy, of course, as usual, who is able to create. I thought Parise was, for the most part, able to keep up with him. But for me, Holmstrom was the third guy on that line.
Yeah, they're just trying things out right now.
I like it, and great. But I'm like, okay, I hope that experiment is over because it failed. Simon Holmstrom, there's no way he should make the starting lineup. No way. Absolutely no way.
Well, we're at a spot where it's not like, okay, who we're going to line up along Matt Barzal's left wing and right wing is cemented in stone. I think that actually is where there's possibility of a question mark. So I think who's on his line, we need to be looking for the players that are actually going to be game one of the season, who he's going to be lined up with. Because in all likelihood, right, I pray to God it's not going to be Josh Bailey. I pray to God it's not going to be Anders Lee. I would like for it to be somebody who we've talked about ad nauseum on the show. We say, hey, if you're going to put Parise there, whatever, I would like a guy like Paul Mayer. I want somebody who could skate with him and at a comparable level. Anthony Bivoli, we need somebody who could skate with him. But in the same token, right, we don't have time for him. If you have no plans on playing Parise, no plans on playing Holmstrom with him, you can't continue to roll that out as a line for a consistent time period. You got to, I think for Matt Barzal, you got to find him a consistent. We haven't had a consistent line mate for him in the last, 3 years. We got to find consistent line mates for him, or sooner rather than later. And I don't want to be playing freaking experimenting, mixing and matching shit when the season starts. That's why you have the preseason. Mix and match and see what works with Matt Barzal on a line and what's comparable to his skill set. This is your chance to do so. So if it didn't work, boom, go right back to the blender. Who's going to have that initial jump and gel with Matt Barzal?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Bello. Here's the thing: if you have Parise on one side, you can get away with someone who's not that great a skater on the other side, as long as he has a shoot first mentality. So that's either Wallstrom or Bellows. Bellows has shown in the past that he has a nose for the net when he's teamed with Matt Barzal. So for me, I'm willing to roll the dice with that. Just see what you have. And you're right. I thought that, he was okay, but I was expecting a little bit more. I want
Bellows?
Yeah, I want him to be able to be a better skater. I was looking for guys who could skate.
We're not the Colorado Avalanche.
I understand.
You got to go with reasonable expectations. We are going to be one of the worst skating teams in the NHL. I have the expectation when it's like, oh, wow, our guys all look like they're slower. Yeah, that's not going to change. Preseason, regular season, we're going to be one of the worst skating teams in the NHL. Simple. We do not have guys where their skill set is skating. We have guys that work hard, and we have guys that play defensively responsible, and we have guys that care for each other in the room and are smart and have veteran leadership. That's what we have. We don't have the ability to freaking hang 5 or 6 goals on an opponent. We don't have the ability to have blazing speed. We don't have the ability to make teams pay in odd man breaks. We don't have those type of abilities, Grumpy.
I have a question for you. Are you missing Barry Trotz already?
No.
Okay.
Why are you asking?
I just seems like our structure just kind of wasn't there. It's early.
Two games in the preseason, dude.
It's early. It's early.
Correct.
I don't know, but to me, I'm not saying the red flags are up.
Holy shit, dude. Fucking stop, Grump.
But perhaps we're taking them out of their holsters. We're not waving them yet, but it's like, okay, I know where it is. Wait, where's the red flag? Okay, I just want to make sure I know where it is so I'm not late to the party. But like I said, the one thing to me, the skating. I mean, the Rangers skated rings around us, and to much my chagrin, the Devils did as well.
Told you the Devils are good. They're going to be a better team. Here's what I've told you before. It's going to be a lot of rough, hard years ahead for the Islanders. A lot of rough, hard years. Simple. Because the Devils are teams that are taking meaningful steps in the right direction. I remember I've told you this in the offseason. I said the Devils are a team that, when healthy, are looking more and more talented. They're looking like they're taking the steps after many early top 5 picks. It looks like they've hit on quite a few of them. They're taking steps in the right direction. The Rangers are a younger team. The Blue Jackets, another team that's in the rebuild, a younger team. We got a lot of these teams that are younger teams that are building up and doing it the right way.
I watched Jack Hughes yesterday.
You always hate Jack Hughes, and I think the world of him.
And he scored a goal.
Correct.
But he looked like Matt Barzal light out there. He tried to do some things and he pulled it off, but he wasn't as smooth as Matt Barzal. Now he shoots more often than Matt does.
He certainly does.
But I think he's Matt Barzal light. I do.
So you're telling me if Matt Barzal was with the Devils, he would put up over 100 points a season? Jack Hughes puts up 50 some odd. He put up like 56 points in 49 games played last year on that bad Devils team.
Yeah, I'm not putting Jack Hughes down, but I watched him do a couple of things that I've seen Matt Barzal do much better. That's all I want to say. I think Barzal is a better player than Hughes. Yes.
Okay, so a 20-year-old Hughes is not up to 24, 25-year-old Matt Barzal. Okay, thank you.
20.
That sounds good.
He's not 20.
How old's Jack Hughes? 19? 20?
He's older than 20. He's not 19. He's older than 20. He's like 45.
You've got to fix that freaking microphone, Grumpy.
Microphone.
He's 21 years old.
21. There you go.
Okay, so he's 21. But I mean, like, I don't know why you're bringing that up. Oh, he's looking. Yeah, I'm sure Matt Barzal does look better. Matt Barzal's a hell of a player. Yep. I know that people in our fan base, certain sects of our fan base, seem to undervalue him. There's certain things I think Matt Barzal does way better and at top levels in the NHL. Other things he struggles with a bit. But again, does he have the right line mates with him? That's the most important thing for preseason for me. Finding out a line and finding out a left wing and a right wing that works and meshes well with Matt Barzal. We talked about it last podcast, and people joked us off. Oh, ha, ha, ha. It's not a big deal. And I said, I think they're going to roll out with Zach Parise as the left wing come opening night along Matt Barzal. I still believe that. We'll see how. I wonder when it's going to start sinking in for people that's a possibility. People laughed. They said, oh, did I just listen to 2 hours of TJ and the grumpy old man talk about Matt Barzal's left wing going to be Zach Parise? Yes, I did. But man, oh man, this offseason has been so dry. It has. And it was a topic of conversation. But how many more preseason games do you think it's before when they're matched up? Do you think it's like people starts to realize and set in that, like, holy crap, Zach Parise might actually be the first line left wing come opening night?
I think he's going to be the opening night left wing.
I think so too.
And honestly, I don't know what he's done to deserve that. Does he have any upside? Is there any upside to Zach Parise at 38 years old?
He skated hard last year.
Okay. Is there any upside to Zach Parise's game at 38 years old? The answer is no. The answer is no. What you see is what you get. He's a volume shooter. 12% his entire career. I mean, I'm sure he's not going to be shooting 400 pucks this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I'm just confused.
Be confused now.
I think about what we could have done this offseason and what we wound up doing, and this is what you get. I mean, I don't understand what Lamoriello did.
Okay, I'm just going to go hit back on this question because you're acting like we're 45 games in the regular season. What do you say, Grumpy, to people who say you're overreacting? We're into game number 2 of the preseason. What's your response, Grump? Because I know people at home are going to be like, this grumpy old man is bitching and moaning. And again, like I have criticism, but they're more overarching items. But Grumpy, what do you say to the guy at home who's saying, why the hell are you bitching and complaining 2 games into the preseason?
Are you happy with the results? Are you happy with how we looked the first 2 games? That's my. Do you think we played well?
Well,
Do you
the
think we
same
had
people,
jump? Do you think we were even able to keep up with these teams, except for maybe a brief spurt here or there? To me, the answer was no.
see, I agree with you on those
But see,
points.
that's
But
all.
the people at home are going to say, and I saw it on social media, and I was freaking, my mind was blown. People are out here saying, oh, well, the Islanders put out an AHL roster pretty much. So the fact that they skated around us, don't worry about it. I'm like, dude, we didn't have an AHL roster out there. We split our starting roster into 2 separate teams, a team A and a team B, and we had our AHL guys filling behind.
Just like the Rangers did.
And just like the Devils did, just like all these teams are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they have AHL guys that are closer and can compete for a job where we don't necessarily have that luxury, but they're all playing a mix of NHL and AHL players. Nobody's out there rolling out with the freaking opening night roster. That freaking simple. So don't confuse it and say, oh, well, we weren't out there with our opening night roster. So the fact that we didn't look good and they skated, every single line skated better than every line we had, and that they controlled a lot of possession. Well, that doesn't matter because that's going to go away when we put our opening night roster out there. They're not playing with their opening night rosters either. That's why I say take everything with a grain of salt, but we didn't have a lot of jump. We're not good skating. We're not going to be good offensively. And I'm not worried about defense. I'm not worried about how we look positionally. That will sort itself out. That is not a concern for me. And I'm not concerned with goaltending play right now. Right? Some people say, oh, this, he let a weekie in here. How did he not see that puck there? Dude, I don't care about that. Goaltending and defense are the least of my worries. I'm not worried about that at all. I know that's going to sort itself out and self-correct. No issues.
Right. And for me, it was just, we didn't look like we were competing. Like I said, results don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. But, you listen to Lane Lambert and he's talking about puck luck. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I fucking heard that. I said, first game in the preseason, we're talking about effing puck luck. Holy shit.
I don't care about results. Not
I
in the
don't
preseason, I don't. But I do care with how we look on the ice. And I just don't think we look discombobulated out there, which I was surprised at, to be honest with you. I thought we would come out, the guys are fired up. They want to wash the bad taste of last year out of their mouths, and we're going to stand up right from the get-go, and we just didn't. And it's a little concerning. That's all I'm saying.
This kind of, you reap what you sow. This has been an organization to where every single year, every roster spot was predetermined before camp even started. What type of energy and enthusiasm do players who are not in one of those predetermined roster spots have, Grumpy? That's a question to you.
Repeat it to me again. I'm sorry. I was having a drink. Just relax.
When you're having a drink, you're not able to listen. You're not able to do 2 things at once. I said, you reap what you sow, Grumpy. I said, this is what happens when you're in a situation where every single year you predetermine before camp even starts who's going to be the starter and who's not. We have legitimately 1 spot up available for somebody to earn and win. When you go into camp knowing, hey, I have no chance on winning a spot. There's nothing. Hey, I'll work hard, but it's only going to have an impact on what happens at the AHL. Nobody has no forward has a chance to win a spot out of camp. Nobody. The lines are freaking hammered away in granite. The only spot we had available was the 6th defenseman spot, which was a battle between Salo, Shalovsky. I think Salo looked good, right? We talk about positives. I thought Salo looked good. I liked the way Salo played in game 1.
I did as well.
I think he is going to win that spot out of camp, which makes me excited.
I agree. I think so as well. And it's not because he scored a goal. That was a seeing eye goal, by the way. It's not because he scored a goal. He looked better than he did last year.
Looked more comfortable out in the ice, too.
Yep. And like I said, I thought Ratu, of all the young guys, Ratu looked like the guy least out of place. So, I mean, I was happy with him.
McLean mixing it up too. You talked highly of McLean. I like to see I'm talking more about energy level. It was just like you've mentioned, as we've said already, the effort level from some of these guys was a little concerning a bit.
I thought McLean looked a little slower. And it could be
Welcome to the NHL.
Well, that's it. That's it in a nutshell right there. And I think, okay, he certainly didn't show the pace that he showed in the AHL when I saw him. But what does it say about the rest of the AHL roster? Because he really stands out there skating wise.
Think about it. That is the biggest thing. If you've ever watched an AHL, Grumpy, you and I have been to AHL games together. I've been to AHL games. Like anytime you watch an AHL game, the biggest thing that differentiates the guys who will be successful and who are not successful is the ability to skate.
Yep.
Other things have an impact, but the players who can skate are night and day better than everybody out there on the ice because you have to be such an exceptional skater in order to make it to the NHL. It's that simple. That simple. People complain, oh, Oliver Wahlstrom. So Oliver Wahlstrom at the AHL level would be he'd like, oh wow, that guy can actually move pretty well. He's got, he's an above average skater at the
For
AHL
a big guy.
level.
For a big guy, he moves really well.
Oh man, for a big guy, he's an above average skater at the AHL level. In the NHL, he's a below average skater. You know what I mean? Skating would be one of the things in the AHL level he does better than average. Get to the NHL, he's a below average skater.
True.
It's the same reason why people like, and I know I haven't looked at any comments, but I know people be, oh man, you guys trash on William Dufour. Why do you guys not think? I'm just saying it's a cautionary tale. If you cannot skate, it's the way the league's headed. It's really tough to earn yourself a consistent spot in the NHL roster. Do not get your hopes up thinking that this guy who put up video game S numbers and the QMJHL, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, which is notorious for high scoring games, shitty goaltending, and lack of defense. Don't be upset if you see him his first year in Bridgeport. He doesn't light the world on fire.
Yeah, I'm not getting down on William Dufour. All I'm saying is he won't be up with the big team this year.
And what I'm saying is do not expect this guy to average, right? Like Atu Ratu. And in the pro league, he's averaging close to a point a game. When he goes to Bridgeport, he's putting up good numbers immediately as soon as he touches the ice. Do not expect that immediate success from William Dufour. I would be pleasantly surprised if he has immediate success in Bridgeport. Pleasantly surprised. I'm not saying he's not going to put up points, but don't expect him to say, oh, he played 60 games and scored 40 goals and 25 assists. Don't expect that from him.
No. It's his first year in pros.
Correct.
So there's going to be an adjustment. You're playing against men now. And like I said, I just watched him last night and I'm like, okay, he really needs to work on his skating. And that's why I know I keep hammering the same point, but it's like, I was expecting Wahlstrom this offseason to say, hey, I'm going to be working with a skating coach all offseason to improve my jump. That's what I wanted to see from guys like him. I'm not expecting it from the veterans. But from the younger guys, I was expecting that.
Maybe he did. This is the thing about skating that people don't quite grasp. It's just like with football, with footwork. There is an ability, there is a natural ability of how you move your feet. You can pound away at all the footwork drills you want, all the skating lessons you want, all the power skating you want. If you are not a naturally gifted skater at the NHL level, there's always going to be limitations you have. If you're a guy that skating comes natural and you're a fantastic skater, it's like smooth like butter. It's a little different.
Like
you
butter.
can hone, it's smooth like butter.
Like
you
butter.
can hone that skill and continue to increase it. But man, oh man, if you struggle and that's not a strong suit of your game, it's going to take everything. It's like with John Tavares. Remember him. Take the clock back. When did he join? When was he a rookie, Grumpy? Was that 07, 08? I can't remember. 2010? I can't remember. 11? I don't remember. So many
2009,
years.
no? 2009?
2009. I couldn't remember what year it was. Remember, struggled skating. First overall pick. That was one of the weaker parts of his game. Not strong as state, struggled skating. You don't think he didn't pound the shit out of a skating coach year in, year out, every single summer and off season? And the best the first overall pick could be was an average skater. That's my point. You always have a cap with skating. And if you're a guy who struggles to skate, you will always be a guy who's not a great skater. I'm sorry. It's just how it is.
But the difference was John Tavares was really strong on the puck.
Yeah.
You didn't knock when he had the puck. It's not like you were knocking him off the puck because he was strong on his skates. It just wasn't fleet of foot.
Yep.
But like I said, I don't know. I would have expected. I'm going to put it this way. I wanted to see more in the skating realm from Wallstrom and Bellows.
Okay, so you expected them to look like Paul Correa out there on
I
the
expected them. I thought maybe they'd stand out a little bit more. That's all. I was hoping they would stand out a little bit more in the skating aspect. Let me just put it to you that way.
I care more about effort level. I care more right now about what they're doing away from the puck. That's going to earn them consistent ice time, I think.
Well, I think that we saw effort from Wallstrom and Bellows.
Correct, which is the reason why I think that right first few games I liked what I saw out of them.
Bavillier, I mean, he was paired with Bailey. Bailey was so bad. I don't know if it rubbed off on Bavillier.
Or Bavillier just isn't what we thought he was 4 years ago.
I just, like
Could
I said,
very well be that the case too, right? We're going to find that out this year, right? No more freaking excuses for him.
But
no more excuses for Matty B. You know
who didn't look too bad?
Who's that?
The kid they just signed. He scored a goal.
Oh yeah, shit! I cannot remember his name to save my life.
Shoshukin? I don't know. What the heck was his name? I think I actually might have to learn his name.
You think he's going to earn an NHL spot?
I don't know, but I kind of like what he brought to the table.
Grumpy, I'm going to have you, as I speak, I'm going to have you fix that thing because it keeps rolling on your shirt, my friend. It's Nikita Shushnikov. Nikita Shushnikov. That's a freaking mouth. That's a mouthful. And I'll tell you one thing. I know Butchie's hoping he doesn't make the NHL roster because that's another thing that he'll fuck up just like I will.
I mean, our guys don't even call preseason games, it seems like. We're the C team. We're the C team. They let Danico.
The team was the C team too.
I mean, they let the Ranger team. I mean, Steve Levy called the freaking game. And then yesterday they let Ken Danico. Man, we think Butch is bad. Listen to Danico. Sorry. That's what happens. You give the old NHLers those jobs. It's like, gosh, no.
Every single time they talk about it in Moneyball, at one point in time in every player's career, they're going to be told that they just can't do it anymore. Well, it's the same thing with announcing. It's the same thing with being a general manager. It's the same thing with being a head coach. It's applicable amongst all facets of life in that field.
I am happy that Brendan and Butch are going to be back. I can't wait to listen to that announce team. Levy and whoever he was with, they were fine. But the Devils broadcast, no.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that one. I watched the Devils broadcast yesterday on ESPN Plus. I was like, yeah, okay.
I think Brendan's really good. And Danico made me say, where's Butch?
Oh my gosh, Grumpy. Let me ask you too. What other takeaways did you have from the preseason game? It's early yet, right? So here's the thing. All I'm focused on, and Grumpy's probably more hypercritical on other items. And the reason we're mentioning this, last offseason and last preseason, I said, no, the results don't matter in these games. I don't care. They're preseason. I can't tell you how often I said that. I eschewed Grumpy's concerns and his worries. I said, no, don't worry about it. It's a preseason game. It's this, it's that. Well, it was a harbinger of the issues that we had because we didn't skate well in preseason. We still struggled with offensive continuity in the preseason. We looked like we struggled in our own end in the preseason, and we looked a little sloppy. Well, people chalked it up. Oh, remember last year, the excuse number one was, oh, it's the Stanley Cup hangover. We've been to the Eastern Conference Finals in back-to-back years. Look at all the teams who went to the Final Four. Look at the Montreal Canadiens. They're struggling because they went to the Stanley Cup. They struggled because they were a shitty team. Look at the Vegas Golden Knights. They're off to a slow start because they went to the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, they were a shitty team that didn't make the playoffs. Look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. They struggled at the start of the season. Well, they course corrected because they had won the Stanley Cup the last 2 years in a row. And look at the Islanders. They struggled to start the season because of the Stanley Cup and the far push. We struggled because we were a bad team.
Yeah, Vegas self-sabotaged themselves, honestly.
Correct.
Their front office, whatever. It is what it is there.
They brought in that cancer, Jack Eichel.
Yeah, that's a little strong.
I'm the first on freaking record here saying I think that he could have cancerous teammate written all over him.
You're right. You're the first one to say that.
And I hope I'm right. If not, I'll fade into the back.
I hope
Like
you're
it never
wrong.
happened. And I'll fade like that Homer Simpson meme where I'll fade into the bushes and pretend like it never happened. And I'll come back with, yay, Jack Eichel's so great.
Yeah. Like I said, for me, it's just concerning, just like last preseason was concerning for me, just how we were playing, not the results. Results don't mean anything, but how the team looked structurally. Okay. Okay. Maybe there was a blown assignment here or there. We kind of look a little bit like with chickens with our heads cut off a little bit.
It's a new coach, though.
Yeah. But you got 6 games in the preseason to get it straightened out. And you look slow and you look discombobulated. That's not a good mix. I mean, we play Florida open night. Florida. That's a loss. Just put it down as an L right now.
Well, we do play the powerhouse juggernauts of the Philadelphia Flyers for the next 2 preseason games.
Well, let me tell you something. We better not lose to them. Not because I just hate the Flyers. But I would expect, okay, the Rangers, I felt were better than we are, and they proved it. And even in an exhibition, you saw their young guys and their veterans jump into play, right? The Devils, same thing. That's a little warning for me. The Devils, they're the Devils. They weren't playing.
Devils are not the Devils of old, Grump.
They weren't. I mean, Dougie Hamilton played yesterday, and you can tell how they missed him last year. I still don't think their goaltending is anything to write home about. I don't think Vanacek is that great.
You know who is great? That's a goaltender for them.
He's not with them. And Blackwood.
Jonathan Bernier. Jonathan Bernier is with the team. What are you talking about?
Okay. But you asked any other things I noticed. We had a boatload of power plays against the Devils yesterday. A boatload. Yep. And couldn't do anything on them. We got a little bit better towards the end of the game. But other than that, I mean, this is the Devils you're talking about. The Devils.
The playoffs.
Devils?
I mean, like, here's the thing. It's not like we're worried about the results. I think Grumpy and I have had the expectation of the only thing I think I seriously have as an expectation of a fan, and I think it's of a realistic fan, us making the playoffs would be us achieving our goal or even possibly overachieving for what I think we had done this offseason with the age compounding and our deficiencies not addressed adequately this offseason. I think us making the playoffs, right? Anything less is I'm like, okay, I kind of wouldn't be if you told me at the beginning of this year we don't make the playoffs, I'd be like, okay, I can see that, and I can explain why we didn't make the playoffs. If we do make the playoffs, I'll be pleasantly surprised. My expectation is we probably won't make the playoffs. If we do, right, I'm going to be pleasantly surprised. I just do not buy into the hype that all these guys are chomping at the bit, and these guys really want to prove the NHL wrong again, playing with a chip on their shoulder. Yeah. This is a team that has had success. While they've been wildly successful compared to the relative to what our franchise has been over the last 3 decades. In the last 4 or 5 years have been wildly successful. I'm not sure you can really play with that same chip on your shoulder as you did when you first entered this time period of prosperity where you said, yeah, not only do we not have winning seasons, but the prior 2 or 3 decades, we haven't been successful either. It's a little different. It's not the same chip. Maybe you're playing with a little chip, but it's not a freaking big enough chip, in my opinion.
It's not like Robert Conrad coming on and saying, hey, knock this battery off my sholders. That's for the old timers.
We're eating a Hertz chip. We need one of those big jumbo Lay's chips on our shoulders.
Yeah. I hope that it gets turned around. It's going to have to get turned around sooner rather than later, or you could be out of it early. I mean, just the compete level. That's all I'm talking about. I expected more compete level from the whole team, and we didn't get it the first 2 games. I thought, and I really wanted to see Romanov and Dobson. And I'm like, what the hell is Romanov doing?
brand new defensive partner, brand new system. I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm going to be ultra critical of Romanoff because of what they gave up for him. It's the preseason, and he's in a brand new situation with a brand new coach with a brand new line mate. I understand.
Okay, but Chara couldn't skate, but he knew where he needed to be. I didn't see that from Romanov it's once again very small sample size. But it's like, dude, why are you up at the blue line as a defenseman when everyone's down low? I'm just chasing a guy with the puck. I'm like, what are you doing?
Hey, because he wanted to work on his offensive game. We're going to start to see that hard work on his offensive game in the offseason pay off.
It would have been better if he had the puck, I guess. I mean, like I said, every time I'm looking out there, number 28's on the ice for a goal against. Number 28's out of position. Number 28 didn't mark his guy.
He got upended and then he went ahead and laid a hard check afterwards. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's a guy who's going to be spending a lot of time in a fucking box this year. I just have that feeling.
Yeah. Like I said, extremely small sample size first 2 games. But what I've seen so far is a team that's really hasn't had the compete level that the other 2 teams they played at.
For a team that needs to carry a chip on their shoulder, I would expect that chip to be somewhat there in the preseason. Again, as we've mentioned, with chips on your shoulder, it's not like a light switch. It's not like you could turn it off and turn it on real quick. It's just like with Anders Lee and his little knee injury. It's not like after skating for 5 months of the regular season, he turned it on real quick for a month and then flipped the shit off immediately as soon as they were out of the playoff picture. That's not how the knee surgery works and your confidence in your knee works. It's also not how the chip on your shoulder works. It's not like, gotcha, okay, we'll wait till the regular season. Wow, we'll slam up the power. And now all of a sudden we're skating hard. We want to care. You should have something to prove, and you should be saying, not only when the regular season starts, I want to make everybody freaking pay. Anybody who puts on an opposing jersey, I want to make freaking pay. You have something to prove. Every single player out there on the ice, every single shift you take, you want to freaking execute your assignment and make positive impacts on your team. Every single shift. Preseason, practice, freaking regular season, that's playing with a chip on your shoulder.
Agreed.
It's not a freaking light switch item. So, like, people talk about the chip, I'm not buying into that just quite yet.
Talent level, is different from player to player, but everyone can hustle. There's no excuse for not hustling.
I did like it, though. I did see a little bit of hustle on Lee, though.
Yeah, I did too.
So, like, we talk about players, looked like Lee was playing with a little bit of that gusto. I like that.
And it seemed like Lane Lambert acknowledged it and said that had been missing from his game the last couple of years.
Congratulations, Anders Lee. 1 game in the preseason. I liked what I saw. I liked the effort level. I liked what I saw out of you. Right? You have been a whipping boy of ours for so long. If you played with the same energy level we saw out of the preseason game, I will have very few complaints about you. I still think you'll be overpaid. You won't hear me bitching and moaning about you because the effort level will be there.
My concern, like I said, I always felt that a lot of the veterans spearheaded by Anders Lee were just way too comfortable under Barry Trotz.
Yep.
Way too comfortable. They were never threatened in their job. Didn't matter how poor they played, how well they played. They were going to be in that lineup card every night. And maybe Lambert said to him, dude, you're going to be a third liner on this team if you don't pick up your play. But you're right. I mean, I like the physicality. I liked he showed some hustle, like he did the week before the trade deadline until the week after. Then he went back into his coma. But it looks like here, maybe Lane Lambert just told him, get ready to sit on the bench if you don't produce, Cap.
Or, hey, if you want to be the captain of this team, we need you to lead by example again. We need you. You're an integral part of the team. The way you played and led by example is what players on this team need to see again. You putting effort and hustling every single shift is going to motivate the team, and it's going to motivate your line mates, and it's going to motivate everyone. I need to see that out of you. Maybe it was as simple of a conversation like that. And that type of shit happens all the time behind closed doors. All the time. I could see that easily. So, I liked certain things I saw. Again, a big plus, though, is Salo. Sallow looks like he is ready to take the next step forward. We wondered who was going to be that number 6 defenseman. What are we going to see out of him? What's our expectation going to be? I liked what I saw out of Robin Sallow. I really did.
So did I. And I'm glad I watched Chalowski last night. No.
Not quite sold on Chalowski.
No. Just his jersey number should tell you everything. 39. Nope.
39.
Afterthought. 37, Simon Holmstrom. Afterthought. Nope.
It's just because the guy's jersey starting a 3.
Just certain numbers are not conducive to being NHL players. It's not like, 99. Okay, that was Gretzky. 66, that's Mario. That's what they played with. Simon Holmstrom.
91's a bit. 97. Like there's certain numbers you're like, oh yeah, shit. These are the really talented players pick numbers like this. And I've done that since 38, 39, 37. You're like,
Paul Ledoux, 38. I mean, no, sorry.
I don't see too many great 38s skating around out there on the ice. Or
now that said, Ratu, I think, had 47 was his number.
Well, the late great Leo Komarov, Grumpy, he's got big shoes to fill.
Maybe it wasn't 47. I don't know. All I know is he didn't have one of those numbers like, oh, okay. Looks like he might make the team. It looks like they just had extra jerseys laying around with those numbers.
Hey, we got an extra penny for you to throw on. You're going to be green number 13.
Yeah. It's like, 50, 59 out on the ice. 62. Yeah. 64. 74. Yeah. No.
Good gracious.
I think the only 74 is TJ Oshie, right?
Yeah. TJ Oshie.
That's it. That was your number, TJ, wasn't it? 74?
John Carlson's 74 too, isn't he?
Oh, well, then it's not.
Oh, no, they play on the same team. No, it's definitely TJ Oshie. I got to think. I know Oshie for certain. I can't think anybody else who's a 74. And people could be like, this person and that person and this person. It's so obvious. I don't know. We don't have, it's not like I'm on a number generator seeing every single hockey player that had a certain number. So
wasn't that your number was 74?
Yeah, different sport though, Grump.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, man.
You could skate for the Islanders the way you play.
Shit.
Very, very slow.
Very slow, he says. Well, let me read. We got some ads to read before we start jumping into comments, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to hear what your thoughts are, right? I want to hear what you guys think. Is it too early to be criticizing a trend of looking slow on the ice? Is it too early to criticize the effort level and compete level we saw out of certain players? It is the preseason. Are we jumping the gun? Want to hear about that too from you guys. Today, our podcast is brought to you by two sponsors. We've got DraftKings. The NHL or the NFL action is in full swing here at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. We're talking touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. If that's not enough, everybody can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Right now, for every leg you can boost your winnings up to 100%. With payouts bigger than ever, why bet on football anywhere else? To make things even sweeter, you can throw down on a stepped up same game parlay once per game all season long. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN and get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. Again, that's promo code THPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for additional details. We've also got Jesus Christ, Grumpy. Thank you. You sleep at the switch over there, huh, Grumpy? I tell you, when I switch from one ad, I gotta get to the next ad. What are you doing, huh?
You had such a dramatic pause there.
Because you're dicking around doing something else. What are you doing?
Actually,
I don't even have you pulled up. What are you doing?
I was digging up these Fugazi earplugs because they're nowhere near as good as Raycons.
Ah, there it is. Yes, they are Fugazi earbuds, Grumpy. The fact that you're not using your Raycon earbuds, that is the issue. Because the next sponsor of our podcast is Raycon. And again, lately, as I've mentioned before on prior podcasts, I listen to a lot of my podcasts on my Raycon earbuds. And again, it's been great, right? It's the one reason it's been great is because I use my Raycon wireless earbuds to do it. Raycon's everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. With optimized gel tips and the perfect in-ear fit, these earbuds are so comfortable and they will not budge. Trust me. As I've mentioned before, when you're working out and you've got you're doing some lifts, you're doing some upper head, you're doing some overhead pushes. Sometimes, you're gonna your hand or your shoulder is gonna bump up against your ear. And if you've got those Fugazi earbuds like Grumpy, the earbud's going to pop out, or it's not going to have a flush fit. So you're going to hear some background noise of what's going on. You can't get all the way engrossed and in the zone when you're working out. So you got to have just the right fit. It's important. Trust me. And Raycon gives you 8 hours of playtime and 32 hours of battery life. Raycons are priced just right, and you get the quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. It's no wonder why Raycon's everyday earbuds have over 50,000 five-star reviews. Again, they've got the three customizable sound profiles. You've got the tap functionality. So boop, I could tap it if I want to go ahead and have my outdoor awareness mode. Boop, I can tap if I want to sink in where I don't want any outside, and I could go ahead and tap to end it, etc. They've got the noise isolation and the awareness mode. We also, again, you can get this on, you got to go to buyraycon.com today and use the promo code THPN15 to get 15% off your Raycon order. Again, that's promo code THPN15 at buyraycon.com to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com. Again, promo code THPN15. Yes, I almost forgot that last 15. One of the crazy thing is, every time I read that ad, I almost want to throw in like a Matthew McConaughey, like, I use Raycon headphones before they paid me to reuse Raycon headphones, because I always did, right? They were cheaper than the other brands. I'm a cheap guy. So I'm like, you'd never catch me. Like, when I buy gifts, right, Grumpy, I'll get the people, oh, they want the little iPod, they want the little this, they want the that. I'm going to use, hey, I need something that's utility. I need something that's going to be rough. I lose shit too sometimes. So I can't spend too much on it if I'm going to lose it. So, hey, I got to do something that's got a good median where it's half the price of the expensive stuff, but it still gets me the quality I'm looking for.
Yeah, just an FYI, Aaron Judge hit home run 61 tonight.
I know he did. How'd you find that out, Grumpy? Were you doing a lot of homework on getting ready for our conversations, getting ready for reading the ads, or I'm sorry, getting ready to read the comments? Or what were you doing, Grumpy?
I got a little bloop, bloop, bloop.
Hey, is that what it is? Huh?
Yeah, sometimes like when I'm on the laptop, like something pops up like, hey, Joe Blow from the Alamo did this. So yeah.
Oh man, good grace. I just scrolled to the bottom and I saw a comment that I'm gonna tell you one thing. The comments, ladies and gentlemen who participate in the live stream, you guys do a fantastic job with your witty, sarcastic sometimes, and well thought out comments. Before the season starts, right? I want to give you guys a round of applause. As I've said this before, Grumpy and I do this show for a few reasons. Trust me, we're not doing it for a paycheck. We're not doing it. Just literally allows us to make sure we have the right equipment so we can produce quality audio. That's all, as far as that goes. We do this show for a few reasons, right? To spend time. God almighty, that grumpy old man is still, I've never seen a guy babysit his drink more than the grumpy old man. But we do this for a few reasons. We do this show, number one, for Grump and I to spend time together. And number two, we get to spend time with the Islanders community and fans that I don't talk where I'm from. I can't talk Islanders with anybody on the street. I'm not even sure if I could talk Islanders if I tried to with somebody around where I am. So, being able to talk with you guys and seeing the witty, hilarious responses put a smile on my face, put a smile on Grumpy's face, and make the work week worthwhile. That's why we did 2 podcasts all summer long when nothing happened. The interaction we have with you guys is truly special. So again, I want to give you guys a round of applause.
Hey, somebody had us like as the number 1 Islander podcast, didn't they, TJ?
Was that Grumpy?
Didn't someone have us like the number 1 Islander podcast? No, it's number 3 Islander podcast.
I don't know where we're ranked, but hey, regarding Islander podcast, if I do say so myself,
We're number one.
Pretty decent. I think we're number one. The best Islanders podcast to ever exist. It never will exist, too. I'm just kidding.
We don't have a website to promote our podcast.
That's true.
It's all word of mouth.
Word of mouth. A word of the grumpy old man. Rich A said, I'm still positive about this team. Positive we ain't making the playoffs.
Very good. Very good, Rich.
I love it already right off the bat. And yes, Doug R said, good evening, Steven. Yes, Steven, I'm sorry. He'll be on the show here next Wednesday. I had a communication mixhap there. I messed something up, and I know he's still not feeling great. But next Wednesday, Steven Rosner will be on the show. We're looking forward to it. So that will be fun. Absolutely. Frankie C says 4-1. That's the same score, I'm sorry, when we lose the big games. Ratu should be given a 9-game shot. Not sure if Bailey played. If he did, they should have cast him as the Invisible Man in the next movie.
I disagree. He was so bad that he was not invisible. He was terrible.
What would you cast him as, Grumpy?
Freddie the Failure. I mean, he was terrible. I don't even, like I said, do you expect him to get better at 32 years old? I don't.
Would you put him, like, if you're putting him in a classification of movie, would you put him at, like, Sharknado bad? What type of movie classification would you give him, Grumpy?
Plan 9.
Hypothetical worst movies before. What movie would you classify Josh Bailey as?
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
It's so bad I couldn't even tell you what that is.
It's supposedly the worst movie ever made. But actually, I've watched it, and it's so bad that it's good. So Josh Bailey is not that.
Okay. Drew L says, we look like trash. Jesus.
Maybe it was Santa Claus and the Martians.
Yeah. Ugh, I never liked any of those movies. They're awful. But Drew L says, we look like trash. Jesus. Bellows was the only one who showed signs of life yesterday. He had effort, and he fought for pucks down low. He mixed it up in the dirty areas. I like to see the effort. That was a thing I look for in preseason. Who's putting the effort on the ice? Oh, the team could just turn it on when the regular season starts. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily strike me as a team playing with a chip on their shoulder. If they're like, oh, we're waiting till the regular season. Wait till the regular season. Then we'll put forth effort.
And, they keep on saying, really? Well, he says that he wants to be an 82-game player where he's playing every game.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I want him to get a shot in the top 6. That's what I want. I don't want him to be a guy who's playing in the bottom pairing. I don't want that.
Andrew L said it's almost like the season never ended.
Wow.
We're off to the same struggles as last year. And it's gallows humor. This is the thing. If we struggle like hell this year, every single one of us will just be saying, listen, look at you, all you freaking blinded fans, blinded by your love for the team. We saw this coming years in advance. Years.
Now, you're sure that Steven Rosner's coming on the show next week? So
yes.
there's no truth to the rumor that he heard that if he came on the show, he'd lose his press pass or something like that.
I don't know about that. We'll have to. Uh-oh, Grumpy. We might. Steven Rosner's canceled on us. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's coming on. D-Cut says, fire Lou. The fire Lou's already going on. Jason C says, hire Grumpy.
Why not?
Doug R said, just play the kids. Dump or bury older players' contracts. Get a high draft pick. Try again the same time next year. Doug R, very optimistic about this season. Oh,
I just wish we would have looked like we were interested. We just didn't look good. We look like, oh gosh, I want to say the John Sim Islander era.
Not that bad, right?
We just weren't competitive.
The effort level is what scared me. The inability to skate, the lack of effort, and the lack of offensive creativity and offensive acumen is what scared me. It's the same thing that scared me last year. Drew L said, I can't wait for this team to go to Sunrise, Florida, just to lose to the Panthers 8-0 again.
Oh, please no.
Scott L says, hey guys, what's up? Scott L. State of Survival says, I want the Islanders to sign a winger who shoots a knuckle puck like Phil Niekro.
Or Joe Niekro, or who was the other kid who shot the knuckle puck in the Mighty Ducks?
I can't remember.
I forgot his name too.
Dalton, the guy with the hard slap shot, right?
No, the knuckle puck.
I don't remember.
I think that was a black kid who shot the knuckle puck.
Oh, all I know is the fat guy they strapped to the freaking goalie mouth.
Goldberg.
Goldberg
the goalie.
Goldberg the goalie. D-Cut says state law. Brian P says, thanks again, Lou, for this exciting roster. Please retire. Oh, man. Matthew S. said, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Matthew. Brian B says, evening, folks. What's up, Brian B? Thomas B. A lot of B's here. Thomas B says, gents, it's too early to panic. However, one thing is for sure, this team is too slow. Exactly. I'm not panicking, but I'm like, the same issues and problems we had last season.
They just seem
like I was able to sleep those away. It's like a nightmare that, like, when I went to bed, I had the same nightmare the same night after.
They just seem worse. Everyone seems a year old. Well, everyone is a year older, but with the exception just of a couple of players, it's like, man, we're slow. That's my big takeaway. The first two games were slow.
Yep. That's not like something that's going to go away. That's not something we're going to be like, hey, we're going to turn it on, baby. It's like we're warming up. We're getting ready to rev up our tires. And when the season starts, we're going to start skating like an average team. No, we're going to be a below average skating team, just like last year. Really tough to win when you can't skate well. Shooters Puck Hockey says, season is over before it even began. Mario says, good evening. It's unbelievable how the cartel is pushing home. Yes, pushing Holmstrom. If you listen to him, he's a second coming of Trottier. And I'll tell you one thing. Phil is pushing Holmstrom. He said it's interesting. It's interesting what he said. I'm going to let you know something. He is at best, he's going to be an average NHL. Average. Everything that he freaking oozes out of every pore and orifice of his body screams average. That's, again, like, we shouldn't be talking, getting excited over an average guy. Simple. We shouldn't. It tells you about the state of this team. Average.
He's not even as good as the second round pick, Ratu. He's not. Correct. Not even. It's not even close. That's not even close to comparison of those two guys. Ratu is about twice the player that Holmstrom is. And maybe I'm being a little bit generous to Holmstrom to say he's only half the player because he sucks. I mean, you wonder, is Lou pushing that narrative? The one first-round draft pick that he's managed to do in his 5 years here. Maybe they're trying to push this kid 4 years in AHL. Ugh. He's going back.
Man. I wonder if he can even average a point a game like some of the other guys, the three amigos that they passed up on.
No way.
He will never excel or be anywhere close to where the three amigos are. So that pick will always have been a freaking bust.
Yep.
He will never be an Arthur Kaliev. He will never be a Philip Tomasino, and he will never be a Connor McMichael. Never, ever, ever. Simple.
He's like Simon of the Chipmunks.
Is that a good one or no? Alvin!
No, Simon's like the tall, lanky one.
Okay, the geek with the little Poindexter with the glasses.
That's him.
Okay, that's the one. Alvin, the Poindexter with the glasses. Yeah. Jarrell said, TJ, we need you to lock up Matthews and Barkov on the 23rd of October when I go to Sunrise. Make sure it's your life's mission. I'm not sure what that even means.
I think he wants you to take out Matt Tkachuk and Alexander Barkov.
Go. Good luck.
I don't think it really matters. I think they could beat us without those two guys. I think Florida, I'm not saying Florida is going to win a cup, but Matthew Tkachuk is going to
help change the culture, I think.
Yeah. I think he, without a doubt, he's going to alter that culture in a positive direction.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. I just responded back there. Mario says, all because he's a Lou Lamoriello pick, and none of his picks have made it to the main roster so far.
Yeah, because I'm not going to include Dobson and Wallstrom. They don't count.
Lou Lamoriello was general manager for what, like 2 weeks at that point?
Yeah, like a week. So that doesn't count. But really, no other young players have cracked this lineup. Not one. In 4 years. Think about that.
You figured even a blind squirrel would find a nut. Some teams are able to locate guys late in the first round or even a second round where they play first freaking year rookie year, first year, 18 years old, the Cole Sillingers. Oh, great, we found a spot for you. It's not like our team was so fantastic last season where we couldn't manage if we had a young, talented up-and-comer that they can't find a way into the roster.
See, my concern is all those teams we were better than, like the Columbuses, like the Buffaloes, like the Detroit. I think we're still better than Detroit, but like the Detroits, they're a team that is all on the rise. Their young guys are just getting better, and our old guys are just getting worse. I mean, I hope it's not going to be a scenario where we just get blown by all those teams and we come in like, 12th in the conference.
Then we're in the Connor Bedard sweepstakes, my friend.
Oh.
Yikes. Doug R says, Grumpy old man, why are you not rocking your Simon Holmstrom jersey?
I couldn't find two more obscure numbers than 3 and 8 and put them together.
Oh, Grumpy. Jeffrey W. said the Islanders have a talented, dynamic top-line center in Barzal. Did nothing to get a winger this offseason and seemingly have no clue who his wingers will be. How embarrassing. True. That's the thing, right? You cannot continue to masquerade and put out Simon Holmstrom as your right wing pair, right? Hell, how many more preseason games do you think Matt Barzal has to play? There's 4 left, maybe 3. I don't know. We don't have too many more games we can piss away just playing around with experimenting. We need to find somebody who's actually going to be a solid line mate for him. I can tell you one thing after watching game 1, it's not Holmstrom.
It's not him.
Matthew C says, relax, LOL. Let's see 20 games in. Jesus Christ. This is the same. Do you remember that same exact Matthew? This is the same shit people told us last year. Oh, just wait till we're 20 games. Oh, we struggled. Wait till we're 20 games in. And then retroactively, when we got 20 games in, then people started making, oh, well, it was because we were on the road. Oh, it was because of this. Oh, it's because of COVID. Oh, it's because then they retroactively make excuses.
He's not 100% wrong. We do have to wait. 20 games is a long time, though.
I agree.
But 10. I mean, I'm just saying, and I agree with Matthew. Yes, it's too. We're not panicking here. All we're bringing up, honestly, is that
we can't skate.
Yeah, and I expect more compete level.
We can't skate. We didn't see the compete level from a team that has been advertised all offseason long of having a big chip on their shoulder. And I did not see offensive skill and acumen that would give me reason to be encouraged that we are going to be playing a little bit better offensively on the puck. Those 3 items are items that we struggled with last year and we're struggling with again in preseason. I don't think we're magically going to wake up our skating legs come regular season and say, hey, guys, time to get them going. Let's start busting chops. Let's start skating hard. Those things worry me still.
Shashuskin looked okay, though.
Oh, my God, Grumpy. What the hell? How do you pronounce his name? It's not Shishikush. What the hell you said his name is?
Sloppy Dospin. I don't know what the hell his name is.
D-Cut says, Lambert's in over his head. That drunk Thompson will be the head coach by the All-Star game.
Wow.
Oh, no. Rick C said, in Lou we trust. LOL. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Emmanuel R said, good evening, gents. Is it me or does Lane's post-game presser seem concerning? He looks a little lost. I'll be back in a sec, Grumpy.
Yeah.
Pontificate on this.
Oh, that's the one you want me to pontificate. Okay. Yeah. It's all new to him, too. Like I said, when you're saying puck luck in preseason game 1, it's just a preseason game. Just sell it as that. It's just a preseason game. It's going to be a learning curve for him, right? How many press conferences post-game has he done? 5, maybe his whole career. So it's a work in progress, just like everything else. Matthew C says, I will judge them after 20 games. Oh, we already said that. Oh, he said, relax 20 games. Then he says he'll wait till after 20 games. Okay, that's fine. State of Survival said, Grumpy, you raised TJ spending your hard-earned money on him. Very, very true. At the very least, he should say, hey, Grump, let me paint your house pro bono. You would think that's what he should say, but that's not what he did say. And like I said, I was just disappointed with the job the guy did painting the house. Frank K says, oh boy, this is a good one. Oh boy, do I have a lot to say. I don't want to hear it's only preseason or it was split squads. The team has zero structure. I agree, Frank. This looks like last season's continuing. True again. Team looks dead. Rangers and the Devils look like hungry teams out to prove something. Again, 100% agree. Looks like Lou has set up Lambert to fail. Possibly. The man is an egomaniac and needs to be gone. True, agreed. Lambert has a dug-weight demeanor in his post game, which scares me. Shosniskin and Bellows, best players in both games. Holmstrom is going to make the team. I think he said a bad feeling about. Shushnikov and Bellows have looked good. They've certainly deserved longer looks. I think Simon Holmstrom he just blows. Matthew C says, we have to find out who we are. Haha, very true. Drew L says, the only bright side with this team sucking is the fact that this team can get another highly dynamic talent in the draft, that being Bedard or Maikov. Well, we'll see, because hopefully Lamoriello doesn't do something really stupid and trade away that first-round draft pick. I mean, if we're out of it, realistically, not totally out of it, but if we're close to being out by Thanksgiving, it's you need to just start moving guys and loading up on the draft. It's time to just turn the page then. Doug R says, if a thumbs up helps your algorithms, what will the Islanders' algorithms be this year? What will help the Islanders' algorithms this year? That's a good question. I don't have anything glib to say. I would say the only thing that could help their algorithms is to get rid of the GM and all the old players. Stater Survival says, if we play our cards right, we could get both. Doubtful. D-Cut says, where was the energy? For a team who talked, they were on a mission, they looked disinterested. That's my concern. That was my concern.
Grumpy, let me ask you something. Are you freaking drunk? I was listening to those comments you read. Grumpy, you sounded like you were drunk. What's wrong with you, Grumpy? You were messing up. You're supposed to be the impeccable one reading the comments. I'm supposed to be the one who makes mistakes, Grumpy. I have a few things to say, right? You did that. You could have easily pontificated for 2 minutes about the post-game pressers. And you said, well, he's only done 5 of them, so I'm not too worried. Okay, next comment. You do that shit all the time, Grumpy. I want to tell you one thing, State of Survival. If I was in the area, State of Survival, I would easily paint Grumpy's house. I told Grumpy he needs to get off his fat lazy butt and paint it himself. And I wanted to mention, Matthew C said, we have to find out who we are. Matthew, I would say, if we were a team who did not have an identity, sure, I would agree with you. But we're a team who the identity is, hey, we work hard, we bust our ass, it's us against the world. And this is, right, we play that hard, tough nose, hard style of hockey. We have an identity. We've had an identity that's brought us to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. It's not like we have to rediscover ourselves this year. We are who we are. We didn't bring in a whole bunch of new faces that would change the identity of this team. We have one new face on this roster. I'm sorry. Yeah, one new face to the organization that's going to be starting. And that's going to be our top 4, our second pairing defenseman. Romanoff. That's it. Robin Salo, if he wins a spot, is an internal guy. There's no new change of the identity or who we are. That's already been there.
And can I just say one other thing about that? We have a line that's called the identity line.
Jesus, did they look bad and slow? I want to tell you, you ruined this Doug R comment. I laughed my ass off when I first saw this. I'm going to read it again to give Doug R the credit he deserves.
Okay, first of all, you realize
up helps your algorithm.
My thing is so small. Algorithm. My thing is so small compared to what you have when you put it up there.
You understand? I read on the same exact side you do. I don't flip my eyes to read on the big screen.
You should, because it's bigger.
Okay.
We already talked about this one.
Where was the energy? Yep. For a team who has talked that they were on a mission, they looked disinterested.
Right. And that's, to me, that was the biggest concern for me.
Drew L says, I'm kind of hoping we're either going to make the playoffs or we're going to be a bottom feeder team this year. Yeah. And hey, I don't want to be stuck in limbo. right? You don't want to be, we just missed the playoffs. Like we finished 9th or 10th. I don't want that because we didn't sink far enough down to the into the trenches to say, hey, for our struggles, we got a fantastic draft pick. We're going to be right in the middle of no man's land. Lou R says Aho is done. There's bigger and better in the system. Yeah, I've got no interest in Sebastian Aho. He doesn't play well defensively.
If he's your number 7 defenseman, that's fine. Just a guy who can fill in when somebody's got a little injury or something like that. I mean, I like Grant Hutton the other night. I like Grant Hutton. I mean, I think he could play if we move Scott Mayfield. I mean, if we're out of it by Thanksgiving or Christmas, you need to move on from Mayfield. You need to move on from Varlamov. There's certain things you have to do if you realize at a certain point that, yeah, we're not going to be a team that can contend for a Stanley Cup. You need to be a seller then.
Scott L says Varlamov let in another short-sided goal on Monday against the Rangers. It was the first goal of the game. How many short-sided goals will we have to watch Varlamov let in this year, like we did last season, and the year before that, and the year before that?
At least one a game.
He did. But again, I'm not too worried, Scott. I know that's an issue he always has. And I was not miraculously expecting him to come dialed in and prevent short-sided goals because he's got the propensity to do that in droves and let in short-sided goals on a consistent basis. Frank K said, results mean nothing, but the effort blew chunks. And that's why we were upset.
Yep.
That's why I think Islander fans are upset. Do not misconstrue the anger and vitriol towards a team's lack of performance that we're upset that we lost games. It's not even the fashion in which we lost. It's the fact that just like last season, I didn't see any jump and effort out of guys who should have been freaking out there to prove a point. They've fucking all offseason long, they've talked about how they're here to show that last year was an aberration. How do you do that? By busting your ass out there every single shift.
I'd even call it an aberration.
Grumpy old man. Okay, I mispronounced the word. My mistake, Grumpy.
Not the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth time tonight.
Shut the hell up. It wasn't that many times. You know what? I'm taking off my offer to paint the house.
I do have a question for you.
I'm going to unpaint your house, damn it. I'm going to put paint strip. Why do you keep rubbing your eyes tonight? I'm telling you, rubbing the shit out of your eyes, taking little sips out of your drink, Grumpy. Ugh.
No, the dog was over the house today, and I'm kind of allergic to him a little bit. So
it's not good when you rub your eyes then. Did you wash your hands?
What the hell can I tell you? And I didn't have a chance to vacuum. Like I like to vacuum as soon as he leaves. I haven't had that chance yet. So now let me ask you a question though. What do you think Lou Lamoriello would ever step down and be head coach?
Oh shit! He'll take over both. He'll say if he fired Lane Lambert, he's like, as we're in our search for an interim head coach, I will serve as not only general manager but also head coach.
I don't see that happening, and I don't see it being Brent Thompson either.
Ugh. Matthew S. said, I didn't like Mayfield at all.
It was his first game back. He gets a little bit of a pass. Number one, because I like him, and number two, because actually that should be number two. And he hasn't played in quite a while, coming off that broken foot.
Matthew C. said we needed a new voice. Well, hold on. Maybe Matthew C. was being sarcastic, and I stupidly couldn't pick up on it. So Matthew C., if you're being sarcastic with those early statements, yes. Maybe we did need a new voice. It's early yet, though. D-Cut says Holmstrom was invisible out there. Yes, he was.
It's not true. It's not true. He was wide open in the slot, and Barzal made a nice pass to him, and he missed the puck.
He was just noticeable for bad reasons. Brian P. said, exactly what I thought we would look like. We're skating in quicksand.
Exactly what I thought. We looked like we were skating in quicksand. Yep.
Did I not read that well enough where you had to butcher it the second time you read it, Grumpy? It's like you're freaking drunk over there. You're drunk or you're sleepy or something. God. Your eyes are barely open. You're scratching your eyes. Grumpy, let's go, brother. Bring your A game, Grump. That's what I want from you. I want you to bring your A game every single podcast.
I was all excited about having a guest on here, and TJ dropped the ball.
Oh, you see, look at this shit. He's trying to.
I'm stuck. I feel like Matt Barzal working with Simon Holmstrom on my wing over here.
Do you feel like Matt Barzal, when they traded, they said, hey, we're going to be bringing in a winger to play alongside your left wing with Anders Lee out injured. Oh, great. Who is it, Lou? I'm excited. It's Kyle Palmieri, and we're actually going to play him at right wing. So you're going to be stuck with Leo Komarov. Is that what you feel like, Grumpy?
Yeah.
State of Survival says, you can't tell much from preseason. I think Lambert told the players just to work on certain things. Perhaps. Hopefully he told them to put effort on the ice, because I didn't see much of that. And State of Survivor also says, also chemistry is important. I think Romanov was just adjusting. And it's more difficult than you think. It's a new system for him too. Yeah, I'm not too concerned at all about defensive lapses. It's a brand new coach, brand new system. And, I'm not worried at all about goalies looking rusty. The back end, I feel very confident in. The inability to skate, as I'll mention one more time, and that we cannot freaking have any offense. Our offensive acumen looks disjointed at best.
Yeah, I just thought, as a guy with a reputation for being solid defensively, that his positioning would be a little bit better. That's all.
Drew L says the 4 at least made a nice pass to the $750K 28-year-old Russian that Lou signed like 2 weeks ago that led to the goal. The 4 might have some passing upside to his game.
He has good hands. He just can't skate. His head is always up, and he does have a nice passing game, but he can't skate. That's his biggest problem.
Phil, he messaged me. He said, did Wally learn any skating over the summer, or it still looks like he's stuck in the mud, Grumpy? Does it look like he improved his skating at all, or does he look like he's still stuck? I think he's taken a little bit of a step forward. It's just not as much. People, I don't know what the expectation was. Maybe people were expecting him to look like, hey, if I'm putting it on a rating scale, he was like a 65% skater last year, and you were expecting him to come into camp being a 73 or 74, and instead it looks like maybe he's a 69.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I don't think that's good enough. But you want to know who is worse? Simon Holmstrom. He's a Z level player. Just Z. Zip.
D-Cut says, Aho is not an NHL defenseman. He gets bodied off the puck way too easily.
He reminds me a little bit of Hickey, but he's a better puck mover and a better skater.
Dimitri P says, if Martin makes this team, the old boys club is still intact, even with Barry gone. I 100% agree.
He should never be in a lineup. He should be a healthy scratch every night.
Yep. He's freaking finished. That fourth line looked awful. That's the same fucking line that's been playing together for how many years now? Well, shit, if you look at it over the last 2 decades, they've been playing together pretty much, I don't know. How many years have they played together over the last decade?
They should be able to roll out of bed and be able to play together. Both of them. That whole line.
Yep, all 3 of them. Lou R says, McLean looked good.
I was hoping he'd be actually a little bit more impressive than he was.
D-Cut had a very, he was impressed with the skating of William DeFore. He says, DeFore skates slower than Chara did last season. Oof. Frank
I'm not going to go that far.
Aho is exposing how horrible of a coach Brent Thompson is. Malkin needs to be forced to sell. I've had it with him too. I want a Trotz gone, but now I'm seeing how egotistical Lou really is. He set up Trotz to fail too. Sometimes you have to see for yourself, but Lou is out of control. Time to go. Now Frank, it looks like he is in the D-Cut camp as people are trying to set up failure for Barry Trotz. I'm not sure.
Can I just say, you started off with Aho. The word was also.
I swear to God. Yeah, okay. I didn't.
It just changes kind of the whole thing.
Yeah, it does. It does. Okay. I made a mistake. Here I am coming about how you're unable to read, and here you are. I'm fucking up.
But see how I wasn't nasty to you about it. I just happened to bring it up.
When I've been saying words incorrectly, I was like, oh, this one. Oh, you mean this one? Oh, yeah. Don't you worry. Here's the thing. If you need to correct me, I like you to do that because I want to make sure it's accurate what we're portraying in these comments. I'm not misconstruing Frank's comment. Jake K says, I know these are preseason games, and I could not watch the first game. However, Corey Schneider was the only player that stood out for me in the game against the Devils.
Corey Schneider did actually look pretty good in net. He did. Maybe Lou said, we're going to be moving the old Russian before the end of the year. We want you to step up, Corey. Stay up, stay on your game.
Pac-Man talked about Matt Martin. He says, makes the team. He's guaranteed a contract. LOL. Yes, he is. Brian B says, Casey, Clutterbuck, Martin, Bailey need to take the next train out of town. Tickets should be bought for other players just in case.
I mean, honestly, of the forward group, you could lose 6-7 guys. It wouldn't even matter.
Brian P says, it's hard to keep up with effort and compete when the same old players know they have their roster spots as usual. Absolutely. No competition.
If Lane Lambert means business, he should just go to him. You know what? You're going to be a scratch for a while, player X, whoever you are. It sends a message to the rest of the room. Sometimes it's worth losing a game to send a message.
I think we should send the message to the young guys. I think we should go out there to
that makes the older players play better. When you bench the young guys, it makes the older guys play harder. Kevin Kurtz, when he said that, I'm like, dude, I can't think of anything stupider, honestly. You want to send a message to an old player, you bench the old player.
Jay Clark says line combinations were terrible in these two preseason games. Lambert does not have this team in shape. See, like, I'm not worried too much about things like that. I think, I'm expecting Lane Lambert to have struggles as a head coach early on. I am hoping the team's effort level and the team's want to win will help mask some of those mistakes early on in the year. Because here's the thing. If we don't have the effort level and our brand new head coach, who's never been a head coach in the NHL, struggles and has some pain points early on in the season, not having effort and struggling a little bit as a head coach, you're going to see that your losses are going to compound. So you don't want that to happen. We need the team, I think, early on this season to really put forth the effort to allow Lane to kind of figure out what it is being a first-time head coach in the NHL. Simple. That's my take on it. State of Survival says Richard Panic is better than Matt Martin. This team is terribly notorious for ruining players' careers. It's shit like this that pisses me off.
I mean,
and we never put the more talented player into play. It's like a nepotistic team or something.
Yeah.
Ooh, nepotistic.
He was even better than Dean Martin.
Yeah. Lou R said the kid that scored on the Rangers was the only one that Barry screwed by bringing him up and not playing him.
I don't think that was.
No, Golashev's not there. Okay. I think that's who he's talking about. Lou is talking about, but I don't think Golashev's there. If that's who he's talking about. Drew L says off topic, but Garrett Cole is going to break the most amount of strikeouts in a season within the next inning or two. He's already tied. What was that? Guthrie? What was that? Guidry. After 5 innings. God damn it. Now here come the fucking goddamn flame. People are going to flame the living shit out of me because I couldn't
deservedly so. Name. And deservedly so. We've talked
I didn't know what his freaking name looks like. If you told me about Ron Guidry, I know exactly who that is, but I never saw it spelled.
We have talked about Ron Guidry on this show as well as TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. Louisiana Lightning, Ron Guidry, and somehow you cannot get his name right. All right? I'm not going to be nice to you anymore about screwing up that. You screwed it up big time.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Get all the flaming comments out. Oh, my God, DJ didn't know how to pronounce Ron Guidry. What, does he live under a rock? I know.
He lives under a rock with defensive back Cooper.
Me and Ron Guidry over here are hanging out with defensive back Cooper, okay? Declan saying they suck. Grumpy's right. Simon sucks. Lee sucks. And Bailey sucks. And that's not all. Not to mention, we should have moved Varlamov for cap space and actually went after a free agent. I just hope we land Connor Bedard.
Wow. You think we're dark? The fans are really dark. That's all right.
State of Survival says William DeFore is Michael Del Cole 2.0 question mark?
I think he's got better hands, a better shot, better vision. But skating wise, I want to say Del Cole's better than him as a skater right now.
Doug R said, "Do we end up with 50 points in the season to celebrate the 50th anniversary?"
We haven't even. We are only 2 games into preseason, and everyone's saying this is going to be the worst season in history.
Oh man,
Not us. We haven't said that, but
we said there are items that were issues last year that are still issues this year that are cause for concern going into this year that we didn't address. They didn't just magically go away this offseason. They're still here, and it's going to be an issue for us. That's all we're saying. Frank K says, Lou has set back this team 5 years. Expect the mid-90s all over again.
Those are really dark times.
Rich A says, William DeForest skates better than Michael Del Cole. Right now, he doesn't. Maybe he'll be a better skater, but Michael Del Cole was not a good skater. Apex Legends Senior System says, the 4 looked like he's a better skater than Wahlstrom and Holmstrom. I don't know what he was watching.
I thought they were all – I was disappointed in all their skating.
Wahlstrom was a better skater. He looked okay skating-wise, and you're giving him credit for it. Damn it. You were expecting him to be out there like he's the fastest skater on the ice, Grumpy. Lower your expectations and make them more reasonable, you Pollyanna fan.
Okay. I just expected more from him. But here's the thing. The fact that Simon Holmstrom was freaking invisible, except for his failures.
You said he was a minus invisible. He was actually worse than that earlier.
Well, that was Bailey. But he was too. Like when he missed that shot right in the slot. Just whipped on it. Sorry. That's enough to get, just take the bus back to Bridgeport. I mean, don't even have them stop for gas. If they run out of gas, just hitchhike from here on out.
Doug R., he said, Grumpy old man, he's come to the conclusion. Simon Holmstrom was invisible because he skated so fast.
Maybe that was it. It looked like he was in suspended animation.
Bob, son of Stan, says, hey, guys, good evening. Hope all is well. I hope all is well with you too, Bob. Scott L says, if you guys think that the young kids have issues, they need to get rid of Thompson ASAP so they can really develop in the AHL.
I think it's who they're picking as well. I think the drafts have been, non-existent for the most part. I did like this year's draft. We'll see how it pans out, but I like that they're shifting to a modern NHL style in the draft. But I mean, Lundqvist. Whatever his name is, it doesn't even matter because he's never making the freaking team.
It doesn't matter what your name is. Right, Grumpy?
That's right. Yep.
Dimitri P said, I thought Holmstrom was a good, smooth skater.
No, he's slow.
Lou R says, Andre Palat was another player. Lou lost out to the Devils, no less. The Devils.
Yeah, but he signed for way too much money. I wouldn't have signed him for that.
I didn't want to overpay for him either. D-Cut says Casper can complete the the New York Times crossword at his locker every morning because he can't play hockey.
But he can't play hockey.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think he's trying to draw the comparison how smart he is, like Bailey. Even though you listen to Zach Parise, he practically called him a dumbass prior to this training camp. Yeah, I played with him last year. He was kind of lost out there. Really sucked balls. This year, he's not as shitty.
Jay Clark said, I do not like this team. We need a big shakeup, or better yet, a blow up.
Everybody eventually comes around to my way of thinking. Some people just takes a little bit longer. How long have I been saying we should have blown the team up?
A while. Years. State of Survival said like 4 years when they came in originally. Yep, I'll save you going on your diatribe since Lou originally came in. We should have blown the team up. State of Survival says, no, we don't need snowflake kids. Sorry, it was too long. I don't remember what that reference to. Joe, what's up, Joe? He says, Garrett Cole absolutely sucks. His strikeouts mean nothing when you throw 31 gopher balls.
Yeah, it's been a problem.
Owen Johnson says the boys look horrible.
It's early.
Brian B said, can we not talk about the fourth line of Parise all night? We won't talk about it all night, but Brian, the unfortunate thing about it is, what is your reaction going to be on opening night if he's on that first line? I would say that there's going to be room for an apoplectic reaction.
This is a guy who could make it as a third liner 2 years ago in Minnesota.
First line for us.
and he's a first liner on this team.
Oh man, Mookie Betzer says here, it looks like Simon Holmstrom on the first line. What do you make of the 4 on the fourth line? The team looks slow overall, but it's preseason. Goalies looked rusty.
Okay, William DeFore on the fourth line. Is that what his skill set dictates he should play?
No.
No. Again, you want to put somebody on the fourth line, put Holmstrom on the fourth line. He doesn't do shit. Doesn't matter what line. He's like Josh Bailey 2.0. I tell you what, I called him that on draft night in 2019. I'm reiterating it here. I've been saying it for the last 2 years. Simon Holmstrom is Josh Bailey 2.0.
The Wicked 50 Cow says, are you guys planning on bringing Steven Rosner on the show next Wednesday? I may be wrong. I thought I saw his name on the show on the stream, but I'm not seeing that. Yes, I made a mix up. I made a screw up. I forgot to touch base with him on Monday. So we confirmed for next Wednesday. So I made a mess up. I made a mistake. Joe says Sorokin is so goddamn overrated. Really, Joe? I cannot disagree with you more.
All right. He wasn't great last night, but and I often said he might not be as good as he was last year, but his numbers might be better. Because I mean, he was phenomenal last year.
Okay, was that all you were going to say? Okay, I thought you were going to go somewhere else, but that's fine. No. But yeah, Sorokin, again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not worried about goalies looking rusty. I'm not worried about our defense showing moments of lapse or moments where they lapse in our own zone. That stuff will sort itself out. I feel very confident in our defending and goaltending. Drew L said, DeFore was a 5th-round pick, so I'm not sweating it if he makes the NHL. Guys like Simon Holmstrom and Ratu should be a different story if they wind up sucking wind.
Ratu will make the NHL, and Holmstrom will make it just because he was a first-round draft pick.
D-Cut says 0-2 with Brock Nelson in the lineup. Our best forward by a mile.
I don't think he played first 2 games, did he?
I can't remember. You meant to say without Brock Nelson in the lineup. Doug R said, and we wonder why no unrestricted free agent wants to sign here.
Yeah.
Old and slow. Owen J says there's red flags afoot.
Red flags, 5 of them. Woo, woo, woo. 5 alarm fire.
He said, listen to the bloggers and the excuses. They make it sound like these guys have never played together. They need to practice. Really? It's the same damn team.
That's what you're going to hear from the media cartel. That's why, honestly, you want to hear something that's true, you come here. We are fans. We are fans who are fed up. I am.
Podcast by the people, for the people.
Yes. And about the people.
Exactly. Yes. But George, you're right. All of these bloggers.
One guy knew. One guy.
Who's that one guy, Grumpy?
Romanoff. Everybody else was in the organization last year, except for Shushnikov. He hasn't been infected with Bailey-itis yet. He scored a goal.
Grumpy. You know what I forgot to grill your ass on earlier?
No, but it's too late now. Next comment.
No. I'm going to grill your ass on it now because you're coming at me because I'm illiterate and I can't read.
I never said you were illiterate. Never did.
Don't worry. I'll conflate it. But Grumpy, you sit on a fucking pillow. When I saw that earlier, I laughed my ass off. You're sitting on a pillow again?
I have a pillow on my back.
What's wrong with your back? Did you blow your back out?
No.
Just the extra support you need? I thought you were sitting on it. I was like, holy crap, you're sitting on a pillow on a couch.
Nope. It's right here on my back, see?
Okay. I'm wrong. I was going to try to grill your ass about it, but I give you credit. Scott L said, did Simon Nemec play last night? Yes, he did. And how did he look? He looked, for a young guy, he looked like he'll be one of those guys who plays with a mean streak. You could tell that's a part of his game. As it was in his scouting report, he plays with a mean streak. He plays physical style of hockey. He's a big guy. He can skate well. It's very early yet. Yeah, I've only watched 1 game of his in preseason, so really tough to have a good gauge of what he is. Yes, Lou, Palat is so overpaid. For certain, he has $6 million a year. Couldn't agree with you more, Glenn. Thomas B said, sorry, Grump. Hughes is the better player compared to Matt Barzal.
If you put Hughes in this situation and move Barzal over there, you wouldn't say that.
Brian P says that's why Lou should be fired yesterday. If we can't start breaking this team down and gather some of the draft picks this senile old bastard gave away.
True.
Jay Clark says Bailey should be on the rocking chair instead of skates. If you rank all the players in the NHL, he's probably last or close to last. Islanders should buy him out and free up a valuable roster spot.
I think they should Galooly him and put him on long-term injury for 2 years.
What the hell is that?
And this way he can go, why?
Brian B says, complaining, TJ, because the team sucks. That's what people are complaining. D-Cut says, I agree with Grumpy. Very concerned after these 2 games. Jason C says, Grumpy skates better than Bailey.
No, I don't. Bailey skates better than I do.
Emmanuel R says, Parise with Bailey or with Barzal is not the big problem. The real issue is who is going to play right wing.
Who knows? Only the shadow knows.
CJ says 2 preseason games, and it feels so heartbreaking to see 2 4-1 losses. The 2 players that were impressive were Salo and number 41 from the KHL. Grumpy, how do you pronounce that name again? Remind me.
Shushnikov.
There you go, Grumpy. Josh M says Bavillier, Barzal, and Wallstrom needs to be the first line to start the year. Bellows should take over for Bailey after he hits the 1,000 game mark, because we all know that that's going to be forced talking about his record.
Oh my God. Can you imagine the media gushing over Josh Bailey's 1,000th game in an Islander uniform? Ugh.
Josh Bailey has received a lot of unjust criticism, but despite being a very consistent and steady Islander, he's played over 1,000 games for this organization and has seen this team through really dark times into the successful organization that we've seen as of recent. Josh Bailey deserves our love and support. He has done a fantastic job. He's been such a great team player. He's been such a great team. That's what you're expecting to see. You just go blah, 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 blah. That's exactly what it is. Amari Production says, what's up? What's up, Amari? How are you? CJ says, Lou needs to be fired now. Get this freaking GM that can get us 1 or 2 top goal scorers. Yes, it's 2 preseason games in, but damn, we looked horrible, and it's all Lou's fault.
I just, for the life of me, don't understand why he didn't go out and add some firepower to this team.
Grumpy. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just don't understand it.
Because, hey, man, we determined that those players weren't good fits for us. Don't you remember? That's what Lou Lamoriello said. They weren't a good fit for us, and we wanted to drive up the price on those players.
We have heard that.
Which is just a complete line of bullshit.
True.
Coming straight from Lou's mouth. And some people bought that shit hook, line, and sinker.
Not here.
Grumpy, who is that? Who is that character CJ has on his picture?
I know it's not who I think it is. It looks like a Power Ranger, but it's not. It's somebody else.
I always like saying it because it's something like 49 or 47 bing bong beep deep. I couldn't tell you what the hell it is, but I know there's some numbers involved with it.
Just let me see if I can make it bigger. It looks like a Power Ranger, but I know he's told us 100 times it's not. I don't know what it is.
Oh man, I could, Grumpy. I tell you, I'm trying to remember what the hell it is. Too.
And every time sorry, CJ, I'm sorry I don't remember that because, well, it's not really that important for me to remember, but still, whenever I think of you, I'm like, oh, CJ the Power Ranger. And I know that's not what it is.
It's something like Sentai or I couldn't tell you what the heck it is. He's told us plenty of times before, but I like seeing it and I like him educating me every time I look at that.
Eventually we will remember.
It's Super Sentai Kamen Rider or something like that. I don't know. I'm looking at his Twitter page. That's the words. A lot of production says, I couldn't watch yesterday. So who looked good and who looked bad? I think we covered that. I mean, like the overview, right? I think Bellows showed heart. I think that in game 1, I like the way Salo played. I like the way the effort level for Anders Lee looked. I look what Matt Barzal did. Game 2, who would you say besides Bellows that showed effort out there? I thought I saw some defensive plays from Wallstrom that kind of was like, oh, that's cool. That's good to see. But man, oh man, I saw Josh Bailey as a center. Yikes.
I saw Pelican Pulak get lost in their own zone. On
That
the
kind
ball.
of shocked me.
I
I'm
just
like, these guys have been partnering up for how many years now?
there
And
is
we're like,
no
oh, they've got to knock some of the rust off.
there's
Okay, I
no
get that, but
excuse for that. There's no excuse for that.
yeah, they're playing against AHL caliber players, just like our team is suiting up AHL caliber players. They should look head over heels. I mean, like Dougie, right? The good players look head over heels better than everybody else. Dougie Hamilton out there on the ice looked like holy shit. If you were just watching and you were watching red team against blue team, you didn't know any of these players' names. When you saw Dougie Hamilton touch the puck, you're like, this guy's good. This guy head over heels is better than anybody else that he's skating against on the ice. That's how good Dougie Hamilton looked last night.
Yes, agreed.
He looked really freaking good, really steady. Drew L said TJ throws another hissy fit when Grumpy takes a sip of his drink. I know. I fucking hate. He takes little sips, little tiny sips, baby sips. Carmine C says they looked so old and slow. Absolutely. Freedom Fun and Adventure says, greetings from Florida. Oh, man, Freedom Fun and Adventure. I hope you guys are safe. All of our Florida listeners, I hope you guys are safe right now. Where it's more of a disaster than Josh Bailey's play currently. Oh, man, say prayers for everyone. Who are the 6 players that impressed you the most over the first 2 games? Well, that's a tough ask, Freedom Fun and Adventure. 6 players. But, yes, prayers out to you. Stay safe, everybody in Florida. I know Drew is in Florida. I know Andy Francis, I think, is in Florida. Stay safe there, Freedom Fun Adventure. Everybody in Florida, stay safe.
Okay, so who are the 6 players who impressed you the most in the first 2 games? I'll go with, it's
Bellows, Sallow.
Barzal.
I liked what Lee did a bit. Lee.
None of the defensemen. Not one.
No,
Sallow.
Sallow is the only one.
But you know what? I wonder if he really impressed.
Shushnikov,
yeah.
I like what I saw out of him.
But I mean, I wonder if we're only looking at those guys because they're new.
Perhaps. Very well. Jim P said, I gave you 5 Freedom Fun and Adventure. It wasn't the 6 you wanted, but it's 5 solid. Jim P said, Wally looks slow. Send him down and keep Holmstrom up. I know Jim has got to be fucking with us. Jim, I know you got to be messing with us, buddy. Brian B says, no thanks. Talking to that. Jay Clark says, grumpy old man has the right to bitch and complain. We know what kind of team the Islanders are.
True.
Yep. Brian P says, year 87 of Martin, Casey, and Clutterbuck. Give them another extension, Lou. Jim P said that Holmstrom looked faster and played well with Barzal, better than Wallstrom has.
I disagree. He was a sidecar with Barzal.
Jim, I like what I saw out of Wallstrom. I like the defense. I like the attention on the defensive side of the puck that we didn't really see last year. Wallstrom was a much better player than Simon Holmstrom. Yeah, sure. Maybe Holmstrom's a slightly better skater right now. Wallstrom's better on the puck. Wallstrom has a better shot. We do not need another distributor on this team. The only talented player we have is a distributor. We need, and here's the thing. I don't need somebody on the first line paired up with Matt Barzal, another distributor. Jesus Christ. We got enough guys who could pass. Barzal, that's one of the biggest weaknesses. He's afraid to shoot the puck, allergic to put the puck on the net, allergic to throw the puck towards the net. And so we don't need another guy who's allergic to throw the puck on net.
I don't think he's allergic to shooting the puck. He needs to shoot more and be more selfish, but that's going to be hard to coach out of him. But I wish he had a sniper on that line.
Frank K said, be ready for the $10 tickets. Yep. And the $15 or $20 convenience fee to hold your ticket when you buy them on a secondary market. Mr. Trollage with that picture says, the Islanders do not have the offense to compete for even a wild card spot in the Metro. Too much talent for this bloodbath division.
That's very, very possible. Very possible.
D-Cut says you cannot improve your skating that much. A lot of it depends on body shape, hip flexibility, and just like your mobility skills. Yep. How well your feet move, how well you're able to stride, and what your foot quickness looks like. You could pound the shit out of every type of exercise you want. There's always going to be a cap on how much mobility and foot mobility you're going to have and foot speed and accuracy you're going to have. Max B says, what's up, guys? Maybe we can get Barbara Williams out of retirement to work with William DeFore. That would get his skating up to snuff.
Hopefully.
Tell Grumpy, remind us who Barbara Williams is. Skating coach of Islander great. Go ahead and remind us, Grumpy. This is your chance to segue that in the speaker second there.
Yeah, Laura Stam was the first goal skating. She was the first female goal skating coach in the NHL when she was with the Islanders. Laura Stam worked with Bobby Nystrom.
Barbara Williams worked with who? I know somebody sent us a very nice article on that.
A lot of players.
A lot of Islanders too, right?
Yeah, and she might have even worked with Nystrom, but Laura Stam was the first one.
Okay.
Who worked with Nystrom? Who worked with Nystrom? She was like goal skating coach for the Islanders.
Okay.
So yes,
she Survival says regarding skating, there are two types of fast in the game of hockey: fast skating and fast moving. You can get by with crap skating, but you need to be quick, as in with the puck,
or just maybe not having long speed, but you have short speed.
You're agile. You don't have speed, but you're very agile, and you could turn corners well. And when the game gets condensed, you're able to create space because you're so well on your edges. You skate so well on your edges.
Like Matt Barzal. He's a guy who's very good on his edges.
Shishnikov, Scott L says. Brian P. Not always true. Braden Point dropped in the third round in the draft because of his skating. Now he's an excellent skater.
100% true.
When you look at guys in their 20s who still struggle skating, I think they're kind of guys that are always going to struggle.
Well, like Braden Point put the work in early in his career, and it's paid off for him.
For every Braden Point, how many guys are there that are Michael Del Coles? And players who just will never be able to skate at an adequate level. For one Braden Point, there are 99 Michael Del Coles, is my point.
Okay.
Braden Point's a Hall of Fame caliber player, wouldn't you say?
A little early for that kind of talk.
Young puts up around a point a game, has won 2 Stanley Cups.
Well, got a long way to go.
I'm just saying, right? He's one of those players that when you look at the trajectory to make the Hall of Fame, he's on a path where he can maybe do that.
A little early yet.
Nikita Shish Kebab, says Drew L. I like that one better. I will laugh my ass off if Butch just says that even once unironically this season.
He will.
Nikita Shish Kebab. I will die laughing. Jay Clark says, I missed the high-flying Doug Wade offense. He did not have good defense, the good defenseman or goaltending, but he had scores, which we don't have now.
True. Wouldn't you rather watch a 6-5 game than a 1-0 game if you come out on the losing end?
I would say so. Scott L. Grumpy's got a comment for you.
Yeah, Tampa actually has coaches that can develop players and work on certain skills, unlike the Islanders.
State of Survival says, Messier is a terrible hockey analyst. He can't talk on TV.
Some guys are able to do it, some are not.
Yep.
Messier is insightful when he's in the studio.
Like intermission reports. That's where he's good.
Yeah, when he has something lined up. Just like AJ Malesko, I feel, is the same way.
Some guys cannot speak as they can look at things on the ice and do the same thing at once. Some guys do a really great job, just like you had mentioned, where it's like, hey, this is something I'm going to talk about. It's XYZ, and this is how I can break it down in layman's terms so you idiots at home can understand.
And Messier has better hair than Chelios.
Good gracious. He's bald. I want you to says.
Yeah. What does it tell you about Chelios' hair?
His hair shit. Yeah. I'm all for the old timers doing color commentary.
So wait.
Brian P. I'm sorry. So true. They draft and develop 100 times better than the Islanders do. Talking about Tampa Bay.
True.
Michael G says here, wait, you mean Brett Thompson doesn't suck? Nah, he really does.
He really does.
James F says, guys, as I was watching that Steeler Islanders versus the Rangers game, maybe that stinker, I don't know, on the news strip, it was like under the Islanders news that John Tavares was out for 3 weeks. Yeah, I saw that he's injured.
Well, sorry, JT.
Lou, better get Tarasenko to play with Barzal and a second line score.
Not happening,
man. James F says, yeah, Grumpy, I'm surprised Sorokin gave up 3 goals.
Yeah. I mean, again, a lot of it was poor defense where he didn't really have a shot like on the Hughes goal. It's like he just kind of skated right out front. Nobody confronted him. DeFore stood there with his thumb up his butt, and he just picked a spot.
D-Cut says, we were uncompetitive versus the Rangers.
True.
CJ says, Corey Snyder looked great in the net last night. Could we trade Varlamov for a top goal scorer? You may all, or you all, you.
You all, I still say Timo Meyer would be awesome to get Timo Meyer and Tarasenko as soon as possible.
I'm down for that, but
I don't think Varlamov's going to net you both of those, one of those guys, let alone both.
Joe says covering for Sorokin is something I expect from Eyes on Isles and other cartel members, not you guys. Joe, let me ask you this. Can you tell us one player who you were more impressed with last season than Sorokin and maybe Dobson? Sorokin was, the best goalie on our team. The guy was a Vezina candidate. The guy received Vezina votes. He's one of the best goalies in the game. You're not going to see us speaking too poor. And here's the thing. Doesn't matter if you're freaking Marty Brodeur. Marty Brodeur had games where he struggled. He still was a fantastic netminder. Every single night for a goalie is not going to be, hey, I posted a shutout. Oh, hey, fantastic. And it's the first game of preseason for a goaltender. They're guys who actually have rust to knock off. They don't face live game situations unless they're in a live game.
Sorokin has games where he'll give up 4 or 5 goals a game. Then he'll go and he'll have like 4 shutouts in 6 games.
Mookie Betzer says, are we getting some more 80s grumpy pictures tonight?
Not tonight.
And grumpy, if the team gets off to a slow start, what's the first move you make?
I move Mayfield and Varlamov. First thing, those 2 guys. And I get at least a first and 2 seconds.
But you, let's go back here to this. When are you going to start sending those grumpy 80s pictures, Grump?
I got to dig them up. I told you, I got to dig them
up.
up.
My God. You're too busy painting the house. How long is it going to take you to paint one floor of the house, Grumpy?
Well,
15 years?
Well, considering I got to repaint everything, pretty much.
The warden got pissed as shit with you saying that. You paid somebody to paint and you're bitching about it.
I didn't ask her to paint.
You should have painted. You're retired, Grump. What are you doing during the days?
Well, honestly, I could have done just as good a job as this guy did.
Oh, my God. Dimitri P says Coolio died.
Wow.
Drew L says, okay. Drew L says, by the way, TJ and Grump are saying, I'm going to hope we're a bottom feeder team. Get Bedard or Mitchkov, and then the speed up the rebuilding process begins.
Why not?
State of Survival says the Eyes on Isles are still around. They're actually hiring. Grumpy, they're hiring. For all of you looking to make an impact and speak about the Islanders, I think Eyes on Isles are hiring. Maybe it's Fanside. I don't know. One of those sites are hiring.
I feel bad for the new guys who came in there after the old guys sunk the ship with their ridiculous positivity where they couldn't be honest with the people. It winds up killing yourself in the end.
It kills the brand.
Yeah. I feel bad. And I feel bad for the guys who went in after.
Yeah. James F says, let's home everyone in and everything in is okay. Oh, let's hope everything is okay in Florida with the hurricane. Absolutely.
That was like a category 5, I heard, as it was hitting land. That's like serious.
I think it's the highest category there is, Grumpy.
Yep.
Drew L said, yep, the Aaron Judge, 61 homers. The Wicker Man says the new coach might have something to do with Lee. Doesn't sound like he liked Trotz. Okay, maybe. I did see effort out of him, which was nice. Jay Clark said the Islanders in the first 10 games play Florida, San Jose, New Jersey, Tampa, Florida again, the Rangers, Carolina, Colorado, and Chicago. I only count 9.
What if, okay, but let's say
it's a tough 9.
Then let's say we maybe beat San Jose and maybe Chicago. Let's say you go 2-7.
Well, let's say Jay Clark said, let's say I could see him going 2-8 by the end of those 10 games. Oh, man. San Jose and Chicago, 2 teams he mentioned as well.
I mean,
could you imagine starting off the season 2-8? Oh, wait for 20. Fuck, man. Don't start off 2-8. Just call it the season. mean, it's a 10th of the season all the way through, and we had a freaking 2-8 stretch to begin the season.
It's
You
over.
got to be batting well above average for every single week, every single month throughout the rest of the year.
You start off 2-8, season's over.
Ratu was 43.
Okay, yeah, 43.
Want you to decide says Richie Palan was 47.
Very true.
You get Rich Palan
My
back.
bad. I didn't remember what number. Well, not what number he was, but oh, look at this stupid thing.
What are you doing, Grumpy?
Nothing. My charger fell out of the damn thing. I had to plug it back in.
Okay. State of Survival said my hockey jersey numbers were 2, 5, 8, and 16 back in the day.
Not a 60, not a 64.
62 is a great number, Grumpy. A great number. Wrong, Grump.
Okay. It's just not your usual hockey number. That's all. It's like an offensive guard number.
That is exactly what that is. The Wicker Man says it's tough to tell. It's too early. In my opinion, they're learning the new system. So maybe, they will be slow until they get the hang of it.
I don't think it's really going to be that much of a system change. Did we look any more dynamic offensively than we have in the past?
I wouldn't say so. No.
Did we look any better on the power play, of which we had numerous last night? Did we look worse or better defensively? Worse.
Jay Clark says Jake DeBrusque wears 74 for the Bruins.
Okay.
And I'll let you read that comment. I'll be right back.
My God. Guys, 50 years this past Tuesday, the Islanders played the first preseason game versus the Rangers. Who scored the first goal at the Coliseum, Grumpy? I did not know this ahead of time, but I did listen to the show, and it was Glenn Sather who beat Gary Desjardins. That's who they said it was. Next, Jay Clark says, Drew L., are you really optimistic about this team? With no moves in free agency and the players being 1 year older, I just don't see it. Agree. Then Drew responds, use code TJ and the Grumpy Old Man for 15 goals off for Josh Bailey. That's pretty cute. Drew L. then says, and responding to Jay Clark, if I was optimistic, why would I be talking about Bedard and Michikov? There you go. Bob, son of Stan, says preseason, yes, outcomes don't matter, but lack of scoring has been the number one issue in these two games. What did the Islanders have? Seriously, a lack of scoring. Then D-Cut calling TJ out to task. Stop kissing ass, TJ. We already know we are great. Talking about what we said, the people who listen to the podcast. And by the way, D-Cut is a member of Isles Misery Rated R, that fantastic Islanders fan Facebook group. And just wanted to give a shout out to D-Cut and the rest of the boys at Isles Misery Rated R. Joel says,
what do you do? Okay.
What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm reading comments.
You do a shitty job reading comments. I know people like you read it. I think you do a shitty job. You're just like, Jurel says, the only optimism I have is being first or second in the upcoming draft. So we can finally pair Matty B with somebody skilled who can actually score. I agree with you, Jurel. Brian P says, I'm not surprised the Islanders look bad for because they're not very good. Brian P, my brother from another mother, I would agree from you. D-Cut says, shout out. That's how you read every single one of them when I go away. I'm like, what happened to you, Grumpy? Where's the grumpy old man? Where are you, Grumpy? You sound like an automatron. I agree with that. Okay, next one. It sounds like you're working with NPR, Grumpy, when I leave.
If I agree with the comment, I'm going to say I agree with it.
But you do so in such like a, I agree with you. Okay. It's like your ASMR. It's not who you are. I don't get it.
Next comment, please.
Oh, you fucking bastard. Don't do that. Eve L says, Grumpy, is that Merlot? Or are you actually drinking grape drink?
Are you sure it's actually grape drink? See, it's just like a water bottle. And I put a little grape mix in there.
Grumpy put some Merlot in there. Want you to decide says, yeah, we still clearly have problems putting the puck in the net. But, or don't know if that's going to change at all. And Scott L says, I'm not a fan of rap music, but Coolio passed away tonight at 59 years old.
Hard to believe.
Brian P says, Al's Misery loves this podcast. And we love Al's Misery. Rest in peace, JK says, and Coolio hopefully heading to Gangster's Paradise.
Gangster's Paradise. You ever heard that song, TJ?
Yes.
Don't even waste you never heard it.
Yes, I have. The way you're singing is not to
On Friday.
Paradise. What? I've seen believe it or not.
Oh, no. I'm saying, have you heard that song on Fridays?
I heard that song on a Friday. No, I didn't always listen only on Fridays, Grumpy. There were times where I used to listen to the radio every day.
Okay.
And then I wisened up and said only one day a week. Want You to Sigh says Plan 9 from Outer Space was actually great. That would mean Bailey was entertaining. So not a good comparison.
It's so bad that it's good. It's so bad that it's good.
I'd be like Bailey sucking so much ass that somebody shot a puck off of his ass and it went into the net. That would be like Plan 9, Grumpy.
Okay.
Bailey reminds me of the old PBS network. Brian P says.
Wow.
Rich A says lack of team speed is what made it look like a lack of effort. That could be true too.
Okay.
Maybe that made it look a little bit like a lack of effort because we can't skate.
If that's the case, we're in real trouble.
We're even slower than what I thought.
Yeah.
What You Say said it was Keenan Thompson who shot the knuckle puck. Fulton Reed had the hard slap shot, TJ. Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't remember what the Thompson kid's name was in the show. I forget.
Keenan Thompson.
I couldn't tell you what the Fulton kid's name was either. Or Charlie. Actually, I think his name was Charlie Conway, I think. Unless that was the character's name. I remember Emilio Estevez played Gordon Bombay. Gordon Bombay.
D-Cut says, I rarely give compliments to the bald-headed stooge TJ, but he's a good sport. Well, thank you so much, D-Cut, for the kind and endearing words. Scott L says, the Mighty Ducks room. Yep,
Russ Tyler. That's it.
Russ Tyler. Dan L with his baby who has assumed the position.
I love that baby. He's the best baby in the world.
He has assumed the position of, oh man, things are going to be bad. He knows after watching 2 preseason games, he can't even bear to look at the screen anymore.
I just want to say something. I don't want to leave out the other baby in the background. If that's maybe it's even 2 babies in the background. Just baby number 1, he's special, but the other ones, they're cool too. I don't want Dan to think we don't care about his other children. And I don't know if that's 1 or 2. It looks like 2 heads back there.
Grump, I thought of you immediately when they kept saying Holmstrom is smart. Has Josh Bailey 2.0 written all over him.
They kept and anytime somebody says somebody's smart, it means they suck for the most part.
Vinny L said, look at it this way, guys. If we lose all preseason games, that means we'll go 82-0 in the season. Yes.
Oh my God. The only good thing is we don't have to listen to yes.
Want You to Say said Phil's basically a computer program, no heart. I like that one. Drew L says Phil is basically another NPC Islander fan. Oh man,
what is that? What does NPC stand for?
Non-playable character.
Oh shit.
Betray Your Soul 38 says 1,000 more games for Bailey. It's gonna be his breakout season.
Oh God, he sucks.
Vinny L said it's called the law of preseason sports, i.e. the Raiders 4-0 in the preseason. They might go 0-17.
Vinny, I don't think they played
they only played 3 preseason games, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I like it.
All their games have been close. All of them.
McDaniels is a shitty head coach. Failed once, failed again. Frank says, hey, everybody, what's up, Frank? Brian P says, Philip Tomasino will be the best of the 3 amigos. Thanks, Lou. I think Tomasino will be too, but all those other guys will be better than Holmstrom.
Who's the guy that I targeted from day one?
Tomasino. McMichael was a second, and then Kaliev was a third, close third. So
for me, it was Tomasino all the way.
Brian,
you know what his problem was? His problem was
he got hurt
in his game after Matt Barzal, and they said, we're going to have none of that. We're going to draft the anti-Matt Barzal. We're going to draft Josh Bailey 2.0, Simon Holmstrom. Yes, it might be 4, 5, 6 rounds too early, but that's the guy we're going with.
I just love when they scrambled because they had nothing on him. Simon Holmstrom. They're over here like that.
He played in the Swedish Youth League 2 years ago when he wasn't hurt.
Okay, got to slip all the way down to day 3. Simon Holmstrom. I know there's only 2 days of the freaking NHL draft.
That's right.
Down.
That he was day 3. That's right.
I know. Brian P says, because Lousy Lou trades away our first rounders every year.
There should be no way they move this year's first round draft pick. No way.
I would agree with you, unless we are firmly cemented into a playoff spot.
So there's no way we should trade Roy this year's first round draft pick.
Correct. Want you to decide said, well, we'll allow no space for anybody to crack the lineup. Dave Scatchard was 38. I liked him.
That's right, Dave Scatchard. He was a nice guy too.
D-Cut says, fire TJ, hire D-Cut. Ratings will triple. Jamie Moore said the team looked so slow last night, but I liked Atu Ratu's game.
Same. I agree. 100%.
Yep.
I agree. Thank you, Jamie.
Carbone is a huge sheep. The team can lose 15 straight games and he'll still have his pom-poms out.
He's talking about Matt C. Throwing Matt
C.
Oh,
shit. I was like, what the hell is Carbone? I was like, I couldn't even. Oh, dear God.
Well, there was a Carbone in Goodfellas, and
that's why I wasn't sure if it was a movie reference. So
Frankie Carbone.
I didn't know if he was talking about somebody who's a member of the cartel media. I'm like, no.
I don't think he was talking about Frankie Carbone, who they found hanging up in the freezer wearing the mink coat that he bought his wife when they said don't spend any of the money from the Lufthansa heist.
Ariel C says,
good friend Ariel says,
this is what happens when you trade first round picks for mediocre talent. You get mediocre talent with a weak prospect pool. Absolutely, Ariel. Look at that. So insightful.
So incisive. Thank you, Ariel.
Insightful, not incisive.
Like the way she delivered it.
Vinny L says here, if they treat Matt Barzal like they treated John Tavares all of his years by not putting capable wingers on his line, trade him away this year for the usual second tier players. If they trade away Matt Barzal, they're going to get a huge haul. Simple.
Yeah. Then you trade him, it's full rebuild. Full rebuild's on. But that's a guy, honestly, he's one of the only pieces that are worth anything on this team. I mean, if you want to go full rebuild, how many guys are even worth keeping? You're not getting rid of Pellick and Pulak. I'd move them if you're in full rebuild. You get a lot for them. You might as well just take it down to the studs.
You're not getting rid of Dobson, and you're not getting rid of Romanoff. You're probably not getting rid of Sorokin. You're just revamping the entire forward group. So maybe we can have many more seasons. It's the Barry Trotz gift that keeps on giving, because when we rebuild, we're going to keep the defense and goaltending intact, but a whole new offense, a whole new forward group. So we'll still be winning or losing games 1-0 or winning games 1-0 with a solid defense and no forwards. The Barry Trotz effect, they call it, Grumpy.
BTE.
Vinny L says, if they treat Matt Barzal like they treated, I'm sorry.
You already read that one already. Don't
worry,
you already read that one.
Ariel C said 2 preseason games in, and I'm already not in good shape. It's going to be a long season.
A lot of people have already given up.
It's because we didn't skate hard. We didn't show effort level, and teams that we should go ahead and play hard. We should be playing hard. Even our AHLers should be like, oh man, this is a chance for me to show what I've got. NHL players should say, this is the chip on my shoulder. That's what it is. We talked about the chip on our shoulder. We're not fucking playing with a chip on our shoulder. We're not.
Knock it off my shoulder. We better not lose the damn Flyers. I'm be pissed.
Maybe we can lose both of those. James F said, how the hell are the Mets losing the Marlins again when first place is on the line and they're going to be playing the Braves soon?
They play the Braves really well, though. So something to think about.
James F says, Grumpy, you're not going to be sellers by Christmas as long as Lou is around.
The question, I think, was what would I do?
Oh, gotcha. Bring back Trots, says James F.
No
Frank
way.
saying, rest in peace to Coolio. Drew L says, Gangster's Paradise about to be on repeat after this podcast. And Thomas Amadeo says, okay, so really, how bad are we, guys?
It's too early. To tell. It's too early to tell.
I just don't. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, to me, the skating. Yeah, I know I harp on the skating all the time, but it's the way the league is going. The NHL wants a high-flying game with a lot of skating,
A lot of
skilled
goals.
players. We don't fit that mold. And we're not good enough to play grinded out for 80 games. Just not.
And Drew L says Matthew C is right. We do need a new voice. It just has to come from a guy who did not say, "Hey, the new voice. Hey, we need a new voice," aka Lou. Thomas A says still not scoring goals, and Varlamov let up a few softies.
Softies.
Again, early yet. Pony Curtis says it's like 15 years of E equals MC squared being together. Oh God. Minus the 2 years Matty Martin was in Toronto. He fought a lot in Toronto. I remember when Matt Martin fought Andrew Ladd when Martin was in Toronto. Oh man, the old days. Josh M says the Islanders should try to switch Aho to a forward. He doesn't have the size or ability to play as an NHL defenseman. Why not?
He's not a forward. He's not a forward. You think
Maybe
he's going to win?
Thomas Hickey.
Do you think he's going to win any scrums in the corner in the offensive zone?
Maybe he won't need to. He'll be like the other Sebastian Aho, who's a forward for the Carolina Hurricanes, Grumpy.
It's like when everyone was saying that the Rangers should turn Ron Greshner into a forward. No.
Declan, the guy after Varlamov, is the first game actually in the first game actually played well. Jakub Skarek is who you're talking about, Declan.
Okay.
Pony Curtis said he wanted to fight somebody to show his one skill, and he still had, but he couldn't fight any of his homies of the old boys club. So he went to take on Andrew Ladd. I guess that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yep, Scott Allen saying Jakub Skarek looked good. Frank K said, I hated how Trotz handled things, but he did have to go. But I'm still seeing how Lou truly operates. Lou shouldn't be here either.
True.
John M. What's up, John M? I saw your messages, John M. I will be responding. Thank you. I'll respond back. I got a whole bunch of messages built up. I will respond. Good evening, boys. It's going to be a long season, man, I tell you. And that's the way it looks. Pony Curtis said, dude, Romanov looked awful in the first preseason game. Seriously? He was on the ice, close to the net, not marking his man every goal that they scored against us in the first game.
Yeah, I thought he was terrible as well.
James F. said, I don't. Lambert is not going to send messages. Lou is going to take control of the messages.
You send them out by carrier pigeon, like when he was a kid.
And then Drew L says, eventually D-Cut's going to have to change the Islanders misery rated R to X if they're going to suck this badly this year.
Wow.
And John M said, I'd love to see Matt Martin released. We need a young energy to be exciting, even if we're losing. Yeah, I was about to say, if like we don't have an energy line. We talk about all these teams have energy lines. Our fourth line is not an energy line. It's an old, washed up energy line. It was the best fourth line in hockey, 8 years ago? How many years ago was it dubbed the best fourth line in hockey by Don Cherry?
Too long ago to even care.
Pony Bear Curtis says, Lambert said Holmstrom is a.k.a. Bailey 2.0, was one of the better skaters on the ice.
Oh my God.
The most impressive player in both games is that KHLer, Shushnikov, not the AHLer. Nice.
And an AHLer.
And an AHLer, sorry, if I can read. Drew L. said, Grumpy, you shouldn't be so mean to your subordinate. He's not going to paint your house if you continue this behavior. Ah, there you go. That's what way I should have went. I'm not going to do that, Grumpy, because you speak poorly of me.
That's it.
Don't smoke crack says, please don't talk baseball. I'll have to turn you off. Baseball is about as entertaining as waiting in traffic. Ooh. Don't smoke crack. I got advice for you. Don't smoke crack.
Oh. I don't know where TJ went. I'm going to pretend like I'm still here and he's not. I said, boys. Oh, here comes TJ. Was that you or me? I think it was you.
Fucked it up. Oh, man. Snod just made more work for me at the end of the day. Jesus Christ.
Sorry. Don't smoke crack.
Yeah. Boys who lost 4-1 to the lowly Devils. What else is there to say? True.
And it's not even like we were competitive for most of the game.
Drew L said, sooner or later, this season is a flop. Documentaries are going to be made on us called The Rise, Fall, and Decay of the New York Islanders. Chapter 2. I don't know what you're typing, Grumpy, but I know anytime you sit up like that and you go, you do the one finger types, you do that. D-cut. Grumpy, I'll let you read that.
D-cut says it's gotten so bad, and the Islanders are posting new menu items at UBS on Facebook and Twitter. Do they think the $17 chicken and waffles is getting fans to the arena? How about improving the team? And he has some type of angry red-faced emoji.
Pony McCurdy says, Michael Del Cole, Simon Holmstrom. Lou should have just taken those draft picks and burned them for warmth. At least he would have gotten some use out of them.
Okay, he did. In his defense, he did not draft Michael Del Cole. He did draft Simon Holmstrom, though. I don't even think he's worth a cord of wood. Gark 2541 says, I think the fans are overreacting a bit after these two games. However, I do expect a slow start.
The things that have worried me since last year that were the problems we have are still the things that are showing up as worrisome in preseason.
True.
If it was like, hey, we're a team that was really fast. We were fast all last year. We didn't change anything up. And, oh, man, we're looking kind of slow at the start of the season and sluggish. I wouldn't really be concerned with it. It's like with our defense and goaltending. That's a position of strength. So if we struggle early on in that area, I'm not too concerned with it because historically we've been very good. I know this is a new system, but I'm not worried about that. I am worried that we still can't score goals like we haven't been able to over the last 4 years, and we don't skate well, just like the last 4 years. Yep, sad there. Drew, Gangster Paradise are great, but Fantastic Paradise is my favorite. Grumpy, who is this? Michelle Ty.
Oh, Micheletti.
Micheletti, I'm sorry. So that Simon Holmstrom shows promise making the team.
That's just the line of bullshit that he's been fed in prep. That's it.
Yep.
If that guy makes a team, we're absolutely not making the playoffs.
Might as well freaking put up the tent.
Mail it in.
Frank says, I'm okay if Holmstrom takes Bailey's spot. I feel like Lou is trying to force the justification of picking Holmstrom.
I 100% agree.
I think he meant without Brock Nelson.
0-2 without Brock Nelson.
Yeah. R.E. Chasson, REC, back again, says, gents, time to rename the podcast. The Islanders Never Score podcast.
Very true.
Owen J said, I'm so sick and tired of having high expectations for this team. Settling for what they are, or for what they give us, which is bullshit.
Another unhappy customer.
Yep, absolutely. Lou's pathetic, says Frank. My daughter would have drafted a better team than Holmstrom and Michael Del Cole. It shows that Lou thinks he's smarter than logic itself. My dad is like, it's a European thing. LOL.
Once again, Lou's defense, he did not draft Michael Del Cole.
Exactly. It's Shushnikov. Shushnikov. Hey, Josh Bailey. Oh, man, who can't wait for those to come around like every freaking game. Drew L said, this team summed up in a lyric is, when your legs don't work like they used to before. I can't sing. But Matthew S said,
we could tell.
Talking about TJ, he reads at a second grade level. That's true. And he says here, Matthew S said, my prayers for Florida. My aunt and uncle bounced to Alabama last night. Well, good. Glad they got
Smart move.
Yep. Pony Boy was right. Romanoff looked really bad. Hopefully, he's adapting to the new system. Yep.
There we go.
CJ, I love it. He says Lupin Red from Kyoto Sentai Lupin Ranger versus Kyatsu Sentai Pata Ranger.
I'm just going to try to remember Lupin Red, but I'm going to forget CJ.
Lupin Red. It's like
always going to be Power Ranger in my book.
CJ the Power Ranger.
Lupin Red. I'm not going to remember it. I can tell.
ONJ says Oliver Wallstrom needs a mentor to become one of the best players in the top 5. I'll say Phil Kessel. He's a Phil Kessel to help mentor him.
Okay.
The reason why you think it's Power Ranger is because the footage from Super Sentai was used for Power Rangers. But Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger, I'm sure it's a Pata Ranger, or I don't even know. Pat Ranger footage was never used for a Power Ranger series. Super Sentai is awesome.
Okay.
Power Rangers are a joke and kind of cringe. I liked that as a kid. And Super Sentai and Kamen Rider are both awesome, and they have real stakes. Plus, are much better character development, adult storylines.
I've already forgotten his name.
Lupin Red.
Lupin Red.
Grumpy likes
no, actually, because they look like Power Rangers. That's why.
Grumpy, what's that thing with an H that you like again from cartoons?
Kentai.
No, it's not Kentai. It's the other one.
Anime.
No, it starts with an H.
Lupin.
I'll never figure. Grumpy's like, yeah, it's that hentai thing.
Yeah, that's it.
God damn it! My camera's pissing me off. Something fierce. I'm about to fuck that up.
It's pissing everybody else off too.
Oh, Stephen P said, I'd rather walk down a street during a hurricane than watch the New York Islanders play. Go Penguins!
Oh man, Stephen Porter.
Man, good friend of the show. Stephen P, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Oh man, Anthony R says the Islanders look so bad these 2 preseason games. We're so freaking slow. We are in for a long season.
We'll pump the brakes a little bit on that, but hopefully that's not the case, but that doesn't mean it won't be the case.
Frank says we gotta cut the Islanders some break. Some minor leaguers didn't even know they were playing, or didn't even know playing. We didn't even know that we're playing. Okay, fair enough. And you can't judge these games by the score, which we aren't. You look at for the individuals play, but not much else. Hopefully, it's rust. I mean, they all look slow. They look slow. There's no effort level. Those are the issues. AHLers look slow, and so do our NHL guys. It's worrisome. Rob G says here, don't worry, fellas. The Islanders will be just fine this year. Teams in their division will be trying to keep up with them all year. You'll see. Okay. IC said, do you think the Islanders make the playoffs?
Nope.
What do you put if you had to put like a percentage? Making the playoffs versus not making the playoffs. Where do you leave it, Grump?
30% make, 70% no.
I was about to say 35 to 40% make, and then 65 to 60% they don't. I still face the preseason doesn't mean shit.
And it doesn't. But you would think you get a kind of a feel for what the team's like in preseason.